Hey, what's up? Welcome to Movie Dumpster Season 3, Episode 12. Today we're talking The Willies from 1990, directed by Brian Peck. I'm Joe Lascola.
I'm Sean O'Rourke.
I'm Connor the Murderous Janitor McGraw.
Welcome to The Dumpster.
Hey, I thought of one I know you guys definitely haven't heard of.
What?
And I happen to know it's true. No, wait a minute. This isn't that dumb story about the time you and your friends found that pirate ship in an old cave? No, it's better than that.
What?
Nah, you guys wouldn't believe me.
Sure we will. What is it?
Come on. All right, but be warned. This story is guaranteed to give you the willies.
Was that monster taking a shit when he opened the stall?
He could have been.
He had to drop a BM, a Big Mama.
Yeah, oh yeah. He's like the fucking alien in Men in Black. The fucking guy Will Smith pops because he had a tissue in his hand. It was fucking toilet paper is what that was. He was wiping his ass.
Because, like, that kid opens the door and his legs are all propped up like he's only made to see him, and he's sitting above the rim. It's a very bizarre shot, but I laughed.
He's also tiny. He's smaller, right?
Yeah.
He is very small.
He looks like a coat hanger with a face, kinda.
So I don't know where we want to start here, but this is our first anthology on the show, and I'm pretty excited about it.
I'm so excited to do that, to do this, because this has kind of been cooking for a while, and we're like, oh, we're going to do that, we're going to do that, we're going to do that. But here we are, finally doing it. Not only are we doing the Willies, but you guys have a treat coming up, because we had the privilege of chatting with Michael Ray Bauer, who plays Gordy Belcher in this film, and I believe everybody would know him as Eddie Donkey Lips Gelfin. He came on and we chatted for about 4 hours.
Yeah.
With him.
Yes.
It was awesome.
It was awesome. It was a blast from start to finish. I mean, he is a genuinely amazing dude.
So many fucking great stories.
So many great stories. Stay tuned, because you guys are in for a treat. It's so fucking long, it's gonna be a two-parter, but they're gonna release consecutively, like one day after the other. So you're gonna get this podcast of our review of the Willies, and then you're gonna get the review, or you're gonna get the interview with Mike the day after, the first part, and then the day after that, you'll get the second part. Check on that fucking MD guide. It's gonna tell you. Go to the Instagram.
Yeah.
It'll tell you exactly what days everything's dropping.
It is like a tour de force of, like, his career stories and highlights from a very young age, you know, up to even more recent stuff. It's insane.
Yeah.
It was so much more than we expected, and we are eternally grateful to have the opportunity to sit down with him and listen to all of those amazing stories. And I think, or we think, you guys are really going to enjoy them. You guys, gals, and everything in between there.
I sure as hell enjoyed it.
Oh man, I remember. I think even in the interview I said that. Like at one point I just had like my hand on my chin and I was smiling from ear to ear just listening to this man talk.
I had my head resting on just two fists, just like staring at the microphone, just like
Yeah.
I can't believe this is still going on.
Exactly. Really, really excellent. Really looking forward to releasing that and letting you guys hear it. But yeah, we did that interview because Michael is in this film, The Willies, and we're reviewing that today. So here we are.
Yep. And like I said, it's an anthology, so, you know, think about like Creepshow, you know, Tales of the Crypt, stuff like that. If you're not necessarily familiar with the format, I'm going to assume most people are, right?
Well, yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, you got The Willies, you got Tales from the Dark Side, the movie, you got Creepshow, you got the Fright Show, Campfire Tales,
Trick or Treat.
Trick or Treat, yep. God, there's so many. There's so many good ones.
Twilight Zone, the movie.
Twilight Zone, the movie, there you go. Those are the big ones.
R.I.P. Vic Morrow.
Yeah. Oh, always R.I.P. Vic Morrow. Also, real quick, it was the 40th anniversary of Humanoids from the Deep the other day.
Holy cow.
That movie came out in 1980.
Holy shit.
It's one of those things I was like, this movie's 40 years old? I was like, oh my God.
That movie what's funny is it's perpetually 20 years old to me. I'm like, yeah, it was 20 years ago? Everyone's like, no, 1980 was 40 fucking years ago. I'm like, fuck you. No, it wasn't.
Welcome to being 30.
Look at my watch, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm 32. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. Thanks for the reminder of my cold impending death.
Before we got into this, we were all just bullshitting a little bit, and we were talking about movies that have been taped off television that we owned as children.
Yes.
And I just wanted to talk about that for a little bit because that conversation was really good. And it kind of made me think like, hey guys, you know, if you at home, because we tell you this all the time, write in, please, with all kinds of stories. I think last time we asked, it was for, you know, your video store experiences, which we still want to hear. So if you got a good video store experience, you know, send that in.
Yep.
And we'll read it on the air. But also, you know, how many movies did you like not own legitimately, but your folks or yourself had taped off television and you kind of owned them that way, and it was the TV version of whatever that may be? We'd love to hear those stories.
Yeah, whether it was like, you know, Monster Vision back in the day, or it was just like the bad TBS cut.
Yeah, USA Up All Night, up all night or something. Or like even like the Sci-Fi Channel
originals
cuts of things. Yeah. Not even originals, but like when remember when Sci-Fi used to air the blocks of like Child's Play and all that kind of shit in like the afternoon. I mean, I remember vividly like just, you know, all the curse words being replaced with like ridiculous shit. Like he calls fucking Andy like a little snot, and like when he kills the specifically Child's Play 3, when he kills the fucking general and he like has a heart attack.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, instead of being saying you gotta be fucking kidding me, he goes, you gotta be crazy kidding me.
Perfect. They'll never be able to tell.
Shit was so funny.
I caught the Leon the Professional on TV a long time ago, and it was Gary Oldman, and he was saying something to the effect of like, I don't have time for this motherfucking bullshit or something like that. It was a profanity-laden sentence. But on TV, it comes out as, I don't have time for this Mickey Mouse bull squat.
That movie is... One, it's really good, and two, that whole scene where he just goes in and shoots that girl in a fucking bathtub, like, how are you showing that on TV?
But you can't curse.
Right, you can't curse, but let's blow this chick away in a bathtub.
We'll have everyone in Scarface talk gibberish for 90 minutes, but we'll show you someone getting hacked up in a fuck with a chainsaw in a bathtub.
Don't they talk gibberish anyway, and with like profanities in the middle?
Yes, there's about 20% real speech, and the rest is profanity. It's like you'll show the finale where hundreds of people are blown up and shot and murdered and, you know, all that, but like can't say the F-bomb.
No.
Well, that's okay, but don't say fuck and don't show any tits. That's no, that's not okay.
I mean, we definitely in my household, like we had tapes, you know, we had stuff, you know, around, but like my dad was big on taping shit, and like he still is to this day. He always has the fucking DVR like totally full on the Comcast. And he always set that fucking tape to friggin' EP, so it'd be like the 8 to 10 hour tape, and everything would look like shit because it would just be scan lines across the top.
Yeah, play like trash.
Yeah.
Extended play.
You go to watch it like for the third time, and it's like you can't even see anything. He used to always record like all the I mean, he does movies. Like, he'd always have the tapes with, like, 4 or 5 fucking movies on it that don't really go together.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
And he used to record, like, all the old, like, you know, remember, like, around Christmas time, all the cartoons, the Saturday morning cartoons would have, like, oh, our Christmas special. He'd have, like, the tape where he, like, fucking looked it up in the TV Guide, and he'd have, like, oh, we got the Ace Ventura fucking animated series Christmas special, the Mask one, and the fucking Chipmunks, and Ghostbusters, and all this shit, like, all on one tape.
Yeah, man.
And, like, it doesn't, you know, you put it on now, and again, it's all fucking... You know, it's all snow because it's a fucking 8-hour EP tape that you're stretching out over like 12 cartoons. With the commercials intact.
Yeah, which is a fucking bummer because the best parts about them are the commercials and the breaks.
Oh, like, yeah.
You know, coming back on WB11, you know, Saturday movie.
Granted, that real Ghostbusters Christmas episode is pretty phenomenal when they go and meet fucking Ebenezer Scrooge.
Oh, yeah. And they have to fucking make sure the ghosts, like, visit him, but they have to, like, fill in for the ghosts.
Yeah, because they caught them and they're in the That might be what when Egon goes in the containment unit. I think it is.
Yeah, they... Dude, he fucking shoots the ghost of Christmas past and they fucking trap her ass.
Yeah, they're like, job well done. They fucking leave, and then Christmas doesn't exist anymore.
That's amazing.
They go through like a portal or some shit.
Yeah, they enter some weird dimension driving down the fucking road.
Dude, it is like a fucking Frankenstein Unbound moment.
It really is. Well, they were doing a lot of that in the later episodes. Just, I don't know. It gets out of control. Once Dave Coulier fucking comes in as Venkman, that's it.
Ooh.
It's over.
Yeah, nosedive. I was telling this story before when we were talking about this, but my dad, speaking of, he had this movie Apt Pupil recorded on the DVR at home.
Stephen King.
And I never saw it. Is it any good?
It's pretty good. Ian McKellen plays a Nazi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Flip the script on that one. He wasn't on the other side of the fence this time.
And then I did X-Men.
Didn't he fight them in the keep?
Yeah. So yeah, Apt Pupil, he had it on the DVR, and he just didn't watch it because it was like one of those like 2 a.m. recordings. And he kept like taunting my family with this movie, saying, "Hey, does anybody want to watch Apt Pupil? Apt Pupil, anybody?" Nobody fucking took the bait. And then after it had to be 6 months, 8 months, some kind of crazy amount of time, he finally put it on, and it was there's some kind of scheduling issue. Fucking Black Beauty was on there. And yeah, he didn't live that one down for a while.
That's fucking hilarious.
It's like we had tapes, like Shaw was saying, with multiple stuff on them, but like even more of a tonal clash. So I'd pick one up and like years later pick and go, "Oh, We're Back," and Blue Velvet. All right.
We're Back, the dinosaur movie with fucking John Goodman?
Yes. Like, cool. All right.
That movie sucks.
Yeah, it's bad. I don't know how. I must have been fucking stupid as a kid, man. I don't know how many times I watched that movie and was like, it doesn't get better ever.
No, but like I remember being like, "Oh, it's great," and then I watched it, as an adult, and I was like, "This movie's terrible."
The only good part is the part when they all think they're fucking balloons in the street. The rest of the movie sucks ass. It's like super depressing.
Well, it's not. That's not even the. It's not even the fact that it's depressing. It's just poorly made.
You want to hear something wild about that movie and the Justice League movie?
Oh God, what?
The villains die in the exact same fashion in both films.
Are you serious? Dr. fucking Screw-Eye gets killed by Superman?
Steppenwolf is suddenly taken with fear, and parademons surround him and fly him upwards, and then they seemingly devour him, and his helmet falls. And then We're Back. The villain is set upon by crows. They lift him up, they eat him, and it's just his screw from his eye falls down. I'm in the theater watching.
Yeah, but that. Now that you remind me of that, that is actually pretty fucking cool.
It's great, and I think Dr. Screw-Eye did it. In that respect, We're Back is a better film than Justice League.
Well, I'm in the theater watching Justice League, and his helmet falls. I was like, wait a second. I was like, that's the same shit from We're Back.
Dr. Screw-Eye? Yeah. Eating that fucking brain cereal, dude, with the Quisp robot.
I was like, what a shitty villain.
Release the Screw-Eye cut.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Release the We're Back cut.
Guess what? Ask and ye shall fucking get. Because guess what's the next fucking MDU thing's gonna be?
Screw-Eye?
The Justice League defeating Dr. Screw-Eye.
Is he John Hurt's adversary or friend? That's the question.
Well, nobody's ever really dead here, so
True.
I'm gonna say that he's definitely one of the elders. If John Hurt is the main elder, he's like his right hand man, Dr. Screw-Eye.
But they're always bickering.
No body, no death.
Yeah, that screw is still there. We don't know. Maybe his soul's inside it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible. That screw is inside. It was used to make baby. You think? But he like sweetened up. He sweetened up his voice.
There's a single screw somewhere inside the car that's from his eyeball.
And it's just glowing green.
Baby is Dr. Screw-Eye. Wow, that is a connection I never thought we would make.
They're both doctors, man, or professors rather.
Sure. Pivoting to a happier subject, the director of this film, Brian Peck.
Ugh.
Do we want to talk about this?
I didn't do any Googling for this, so
So Bryan Singer, I guess, cast this guy in a lot of movies. Just to start, we'll get to the bad bits in a second. And he was in Actually, there's 2 people from this movie, believe it or not, in this film.
From Return of the Living Dead.
Or excuse me, let me reword that. They're both from Return of the Living Dead. Brian Peck played Scuzz in that film, but in Return of the Living Dead, he gets grabbed through the fucking window by like that real like skin and bone zombie that's like just a torso, and it bites the shit out of his head.
Sure does.
Oh yeah.
And also, apparently, he's a pedophile.
Ooh.
He he abused someone on the Amanda Show, which he was a producer of.
Was that what it was? The Amanda Show? Dude, fucking check this. I read that he abused them via, like, anesthesia?
What the fuck?
It's terrible. Awful shit. I didn't know it was the Amanda Show. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I mean, that's it. The guy's a piece of shit. I mean, he made a pretty good movie.
Yeah, he's a scumbag.
But, damn, that's disappointing.
The thing with that is, you know, we had talked about this recently with the whole Victor Salva thing, and we were, you know, off air, not on air. But, you know, people do awful shit.
Right.
And usually bad shit comes out after the fact, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, my whole thing with that is like, well, oh, how can you know, people say, oh, I can't watch that movie because of X. And I'm like, I totally understand that sentiment.
Yeah?
I totally get it. But it's also a thing where it's like, I kind of like grew up, especially this film, like I grew up with this film.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I know later that all that shit happened, the only way I can separate this, where I can still enjoy this film and be like, oh, this scumbag directed it, okay, especially in low-budget filmmaking, yes, the director's name is on it, but most of the you know, this movie wasn't just made by him.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It was made by the lighting guy, the cinematographer, the actors, the special effects, the production designers,
Yes.
the location scouters, even the fucking craft service people made this film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Made it possible.
Absolutely.
The grips and the dolly grips and all of that shit, and the gaffers and everything, and the sound guys, boom operators, the whole fucking nine. It's a collective effort of all of these people who probably for the most part didn't do anything heinous like the director did. So like I kind of think of it as, and the fact of the matter is, like, when somebody makes a film and then distributes it, like, they get paid once normally, especially for like an independent film. Like, they're like, okay, here's your check, it's our movie now, and then whoever buys it distributes it, you know what I mean, and then that's it. 90% of the time. Probably what happened with this film, since it's like I mean, we'll get into it in a little bit, but it's like it's like public domain because it was like bought and sold. I mean, Mike shed some light on that too. How it's public domain and it's been changing hands, and then a company goes out of business, and then they pick it up, and then it goes out of business. So it could just be like a big money laundering thing. But case in point is, Peck isn't making any money on it, you know?
No, right.
He got paid once and that's it, right? So if you watch this film or purchase this film or whatever, it's not like you're contributing to this man's wealth,
well-being even,
or well-being. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I get it. I agree.
And like as a long-time wrestling fan, like, it's really hard to go back and watch Chris Benoit matches, but also at the same time, it's like he's not the only dude in the ring, and I'm trying to see maybe the end of a story or the end of it. Like, WrestleMania 20 is really hard to just go like, well, gonna stop now right before that amazing triple threat match that had 2 other guys in it.
Sure. I personally can't do Benoit, but I get it. I totally get where you're coming from.
I have not gone back to watch a Benoit match since that happened, but if someone, in situations where it's on or something like that, where I'm not in control of what's on, it's like, okay, maybe I'll sit through this because there's 2 other guys in the ring I like. But
okay, yeah, sure.
There's no reason to go back and celebrate his time. He was an exceptional fucking wrestler, but at the same, but he murdered his family. So let's not glamorize that.
Right. Well, I guess my point is that everybody's different, and everybody's going to see it differently, and everybody's going to have their own opinion on those kinds of things. Separate the art from the artist kind of thing. But I guess I just wanted to put it out there of how I kind of look at films like Jeepers Creepers and Clown House and The Willies and shit like that. And even H.P. Lovecraft with the whole racist thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had a long talk about that last night on Phantom Zone, funny enough. And our friend we brought on, Izza, is a black guy, and he had some really interesting insight on it. So,
Well, you should probably go listen to that episode then if you're curious.
yes, you should. After it's out, and that's where you can find the source of this horrifying video I made last night.
Tell people about this, Connor.
Tell people about this.
You gotta post this on the fucking Instagram.
So I'm gonna put on the gram, probably up before this episode's out. But we were I don't even remember. I had 6 strongbows like back to back to back to back to back to back to back.
He was sipping on that fucking cider, boys and girls.
I was just sipping on cider the whole time, and at some point we got into a conversation about horror movies, and Midsommar got brought up, and I think out of nowhere blurted out like, what if when they went to get that hammer after the old guy jumped off the cliff and like suddenly just went boop 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 boop,
Got the fucking mega hammer.
and the fucking Donkey Kong music played. How funny would that be? So then I got off the show and jumped into my very crude video editor and slapped that together real fast.
Oh, man. What's even funny, you should have added barrels to it.
I was even thinking, Connor, if you really wanted to go crazy, when they jump off the cliff, you add the...
But now the show art for that episode is Funky Kong murdering Mario with a hammer. Now that we
Why Funky Kong? Of all the goddamn Kongs, you picked the worst one.
Arlen picked it. I'm like, you know what? It's the wrong Kong, but please keep it, because I love the fact that you picked Funky.
Arlen, you're a fucking troll. I know you're listening.
Arlen, you're my hero. Funky Kong was the best thing you could have possibly fucking picked.
But the way his head is oriented is just like, it looks like he's looking over his shoulder at you, like, ha! Like,
Just have Cranky fucking falling off the cliff, dude.
oh my god, that'd be even better.
In the wheelchair from, like, fucking Donkey Kong Country. Yeah. Floats down like Tay Diggs' face, like...
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
And they throw the fucking phonograph over with him. There it goes.
Yeah. There's so many options here, Connor.
Look, I wasn't thinking about options. I was thinking, I'm drunk and this is funny, so it's gonna happen.
No, totally.
Sure. Yeah. Oh. I'm into it. So the Willies, you guys want to talk about it a little bit?
What a fun little breeze this was. It felt like an hour.
Oh my god, I love this movie so much. This is one of my... I think this is like the most sweetest combination of kind of like Creepshow and Are You Afraid of the Dark? Like kid-orientated anthology, horror anthology movie. It just hits all those sweet fucking notes. And if I can quote a good friend of mine, Josh Schaefer, The Willies is a total comfort flick, the equivalent of a 20-piece and a sweet and sour power hour. And I'm gonna have to fucking go in on that and be like, fuck yes, exactly.
I don't know what a sweet and sour power hour is, but I can definitely relate to a 20-piece.
It's just so... It's cozy, I guess, is the big point I'm trying to hit home here. It's very cozy and it's very charming, and it gives me the willies.
Yeah.
In the best way possible.
I think it gave me some.
Yeah.
Gave me a little mahogany.
I got teak, dude, for sure.
No, God, this is cozy and brisk. Like I said, it's like an hour and 30 minutes. It feels way shorter than that, but in a good way.
I think that's because it was shot in like fucking 3 different decades, because
Basically.
a lot of it, like, what is it, Sean? I think we were talking about it, and I seem to be blanking.
It's got to be like late 80s, so let's say it was like 3 to 5 years prior to it coming out, I think it was.
The first story was 85, I believe.
Right. Basically, the whole, like, the big main story, because there's basically the way this movie ends up breaking out is there is a couple short stories in the beginning, and then 2 longer ones, and then there's kind of a wraparound. And the first main story called Bad Apples, he shot over like weekends essentially back in the late 80s, and then when I guess he got the funding or had more time to get better actors, he did the second part with Michael Bauer.
And that had to be, I believe, this film drops in 1990, but I believe they shot Flyboy, which is the Michael Ray Bauer segment, in 88, 89.
Yeah.
In that bracket right there. And then we have a wraparound that was probably shot right before release with Sean Astin, of all people.
Yeah.
Welcome to the MDU.
Oh, Mr. Frodo.
It's Bobby from Stranger Things.
Yes.
It sure is.
He is like the 80s guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's fucking Mike from the Goonies, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's fucking looking for that one-eyed Willie treasure.
All this stuff with Sean Astin looked like it was shot very recently as compared to some of the stuff in the movie, like you guys just implied.
I guess my big question is, where did each of us watch this?
YouTube.
Yeah, because it's impossible to fucking find anywhere else.
Okay, so I have this on tape, and I know for a fact because Sean and I were discussing this a little bit the other day, and I didn't even know it, but the DVD version, which is the one on YouTube, is cut and re-edited.
Yes. We'll talk about it in a couple minutes, but there's an entire bit essentially cut out of the DVD version.
Yeah, there's an entire segment just excised from it, and a joke that is excised from it that I was like, I couldn't wait till you guys got to it because I was like, this is great. It's for the MDU, of course, but but I will insert it back in because you guys it is not in the cut that you guys watched.
Lawnmower Man again.
Yep,
Yeah.
for sure. Well, it's just strange to me because you would think that they would just take the tape rip, like the VHS rip, and just throw it on DVD. You know what I mean? That's what essentially it looks like, but it looks like it's just a different cut of the film entirely, which is strange to me.
I have a theory on why the thing was cut, so when we get to it, which I feel like we might as well just start talking about the movie and then it'll come up.
Yeah, we're gonna roll in. Plus, there's one other weird thing I want to talk about when we hit that segment too.
Yep, me too.
Oh, okay, good.
We were talking about it the other day.
Yep.
So this movie opens in a tent, and you just basically, I kind of like this, where it's just a pitch black screen, and you hear like a couple of kids talking, and Sean Astin, you could recognize his fucking voice immediately.
Sure. It's obviously deeper though now at this point.
Yes, and the light comes on, you see like the shape of a tent, and then you kind of go in, and like I said, it's Sean Astin and his two cousins.
Man, this opens and you hear just crickets.
Yeah.
Right. That summer night, and it automatically hits you in a wave, like, yeah. And there's like, and the fucking text comes up, and it's like, and it's all like, it almost looks like shimmering water, like it's supposed to be like moving, and like the credits come up, and this purple font.
Oh yeah, those opening credits. I just wanted to comment. The font they used in that is fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's like a drippy font kind of thing,
like a goopy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know, man. When that shit first opens, I'm just like, ugh. I immediately feel at ease, and I'm just like, it just feels so fucking good. Like I'm so excited to watch this again. I've seen this a million times.
The music too that's playing over it.
Yes.
That we get throughout this film. I don't know how you would really classify it. I think it fits the movie really well for the audience they're trying to hit, because I feel like this is definitely aimed at a younger audience, like maybe not like really young
adults, 12 like the same crowd for Are You Afraid of the Dark, same exact age group, like 8 to 12, right?
Preteens.
Yeah, Randy Miller's on the score here, and the vibe, I love it. The vibes that it gives me is actually Ghoulies 3 vibes. That score for that film, they sound kind of similar, and it's like this weird, like, creepy but playful but goofy at the same time, but totally feels good. You know what I mean?
Killer Clowns-esque.
Yeah. At some parts, yeah, for sure, yeah.
So they're in the tent, and Sean Astin has this lantern, and this other kid, he's like, hey, I have fireflies in a jar. He's like, they'll work as a light, and his brother is just like, yeah, it looks like you're killing them in there.
Let me tell you something. As a light source, those fireflies must be radioactive or mutated or something, because he's like, look, wow, the whole fucking area lights up.
Did anybody else catch fireflies as a kid and like smear them on yourself and pretend it was predator blood?
No.
No.
Oh.
But I can understand why. But
okay.
I here's the thing.
I'm alone in that? All right.
As someone who works with animals and is perfectly okay with, like, as a real story, getting dog shit smeared up his face, I do not do creepy crawlies. No thanks.
Really?
So have you ever taken the dog shit that was smeared on your face and make predator fucking marks like Joe was just describing?
No. So you did yourself up like Dutch, right? Like in the mud?
Yeah.
With dog shit.
The whole head's covered.
I fucking took my finger and just, like, did that shit from Alien vs. Predator, just like, you're now an honorary poop warrior.
Oh, no. He didn't see me. I got shit all over me. I got dog shit armor on.
Thank you, you giant fucking pit bull.
killing me. I'm here. I'm covered in shit.
Yes, for a quick reference, I was picking up a pit bull, and he was covered in dog shit. His tail swung backwards, hit me in the chin, brushed up my face, and it was covered in diarrhea.
Oh my goodness! You know what? That's the day that I just let go. I just turn around and walk the fuck out, and I get hit by a fucking car on oncoming traffic.
I think that was a day where I earned my, like, veterinary assistant badge.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because, like, if you can take that, you're like, I'm good.
I feel like if you were like a Cub Scout at your job, you'd have that whole fucking sash filled with badges by now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Boom, one shot.
Real quick too. So Josh is the little brother, Kyle's the older brother, and Sean Astin is Michael, their cousin. I was just, we were looking and we like to see who's playing who because obviously these kids are no names, but Josh, the little brother, is credited as Joshua John Miller, who is the little brother from Teen Witch. That is not the same fucking guy. So somebody fucked up on IMDb, PS.
Ooh, somebody got Crispin Glovered.
Yeah, it's not the same dude at all.
He kind of looked like the shitty little friend from the Blob remake who gets murdered in the sewer.
Oh.
Kinda, yeah, the little blonde kid.
Yeah, the little bratty one who I'm like, man, I hope he, yes! Like,
He also looks like Sherman Putterman from Terror Vision, kinda. It's like a mashup of him and the kid from the Blob.
Yeah, a little bit.
he also was irritating in this sequence, too, because he wouldn't stop telling the same terrible child joke.
Yeah.
Well, he kept fucking with that pot of taters. He kept saying, what are these taters?
He's telling riddles and shit. He's like, what's grosser than gross, Mr. Barons?
Meanwhile, Sean Astin is just like, hey, leave me alone. I just got back from a fucking pirate ship in a cave with my friends, the Goonies, the Oogies. Copyright, anybody?
Goonies TM.
Because this kid, what does he say, Joe? You tell me what this kid fucking says to him.
So they're all telling bad jokes and shit, and then they start telling each other. He's like, "You want to hear something really scary?" And then Dan Aykroyd comes in the tent and scares the shit up. No, that's not what happens.
Call somebody else.
He comes in, he's like, let me tell you about the time I met the Men in Black.
Hey, you want to hear about some UFOs? Okay, dear. Bye.
You want some vodka, kids?
Buy my vodka.
Yeah. Buy my Crystal Skull vodka.
He just sits in that tent and just smokes cigarettes the whole time, and he's like, and then these very pale men came into my studio, and they said, shut your show down right now.
Mr. Aykroyd, why do you still have a flip phone? It's 2020.
It works. Why would I get rid of it?
Fuck it. So Sean Astin's telling the story, and because the little kid's telling like stupid jokes, like what's grosser than 10 dead puppies in a barrel, 1 dead puppy in 10 barrels. So Sean Astin's like, all right, well, you want to hear something? So he goes to tell him a story, and the one older brother stops and he goes, hold on a second. He's like, wait. This isn't that stupid story about you and your friends find that dumb old pirate ship, is it?
Mikey from the fucking Goonies. It's the same guy.
That's fantastic. I missed that for some reason.
Okay, so that joke, because I thought I missed it too, because it's not in the DVD cut, I thought.
Oh, then maybe I didn't hear it then, because...
That's what I'm asking.
I might have looked it up after the fact. I definitely heard it, though.
I'm almost positive it's totally deleted from it because it comes right before the poodle in the microwave.
That is bizarre.
Yeah, it's not there.
That's a fantastic joke. Why would you remove that?
It's I don't know, copyright maybe?
You want to just talk about the poodle in the microwave first? Just get it out of the way, get the elephant out of the room.
Okay, we'll just do that. Only because, sorry, I didn't know we were going to roll right into that.
Sure. Just, we're talking about it. We might as well.
So, on the tape, there is that joke that I just did about the Goonies, which solidifies the fact that Goonies really happened in this in the Willy's universe.
Fucking Willies were doing MDU shit before we came along, even.
Right? They got to jump on the fucking MCU too.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was so funny. I always thought that was so funny, that joke, and it seems to not be intact in the DVD version.
That is weird.
And it comes right before Poodle in the Microwave, and that entire scene is excised from the DVD.
And it's exactly what it sounds like.
I have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's not there. In the VHS, it's there. So it's basically they're telling urban legends, right, at first, and then he's like, oh man, I knew this guy whose grandma put her fucking poodle in the microwave to dry it off, and it's like Floofsum's cousin Pooksum's. And she takes this fucking poodle, this old woman takes this poodle and sticks it in a microwave, and it explodes all over her. And that's the story.
It is the most nerve-wracking thing for a slapstick payoff that I was ever expecting. Like, basically, it's like, Connor, for 3 minutes, this fucking poodle is in there like, and the woman's waiting. Nothing like negative happening to it. Literally, as it ends at 1 second, the poodle is still totally intact. It ends and it explodes into like fucking like gore into her face.
It explodes into fucking cat food. It's like Gremlins when Miss Peltzer puts the fucking gremlin in the microwave.
Oh yeah. And Joe, you had to tell me about this scene, so I YouTubed it. And weirdly enough, there's also, which I don't think we ever came down to a conclusion on this, but there's another fucking cut of this movie with a troll monster introducing this scene.
It's not in the DVD cut, so I was like, oh, I'm sure the scene is by itself because it's an iconic scene from this film. So we're looking on YouTube, and I come across it, and the scene is introduced by this fucking troll guy. And he's like, oh, Gordy, how about a fucking poodle in the microwave? And then it, like, cuts to the Willy's movie of the poodle in the microwave thing. And then it cuts back, and he's like, that wasn't too good. What about Gordy Belcher? And then the clip ends.
Right.
And I was trying to look through the comments and find out where the fuck this aired, what the fuck this guy is from. He's like this weird troll guy. It's like a dude in prosthetics. It actually looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I have no fucking clue what it's from or what cut it's from, because, again, you have the VHS and then you have the DVD, but the DVD is just basically a VHS rip, but a different cut. But it doesn't have a troll guy in it.
Here's my thought on why that sequence isn't in the DVD. Were people just afraid their fucking kids were going to really do that? Was that a thing?
No, or maybe it was just like too extreme, they thought, for kids.
I don't know, man. Like,
but it was already on home video at that point.
Sure.
Here's my thing, though. Like, as far as like censoring it for content, like, that's the hill you wanted to die on. But the rest of this film has someone getting their arms ripped off and a bunch of kids being
that's exactly
a bunch of kids being eviscerated in a
Right.
bathroom. Like, what's the fucking difference?
The difference is you actually see the poodle explode into gore all over the place.
I mean, I could see it if they, like, modeled like a melting poodle and they did like a, in action as it's going on. Like, I could be like, oh yeah, maybe you don't put that in there, it's for kids. But it's like done in a very comical fashion.
Dude, the door on this fucking microwave flings open and shit flies at this woman, and it covers her in poodle garbage.
So yeah, that's we gotta find out. Maybe somebody could fucking tell us if you know at home.
Yeah, I had never seen that.
Let us know in an email or when we post this in one of the comments on one of the videos. Somebody let us know, because we're perplexed.
And we had talked to Mike about it, and I think the answer lies in the fact that this movie has changed hands so many times.
Sure.
That they were trying to repackage it and resell it as something else with like that fucking troll guy, I guess. But
yeah,
wherever that exists, I fucking need that version of it, whether it's on tape or whatever. I'm sure it might, you know what it might be? It might be an international cut of it. Who knows?
Maybe. Or like, it's like some stations, like weekend, run of TV shows, and they have like, oh, we have this version with this extra footage we did because why not?
Or maybe that's so strange.
Yeah, like footage that's usually shot for the made-for-TV version. Like, doesn't Halloween have a bunch of extra shit that's not on like the home video release because it was basically just for TV?
This is hugely different.
This is different because I feel like in this situation you have a movie that went through so many different hands and sensitivities and opinions that someone was like, oh, we could restructure this, or we could reformat this, and that doesn't need to be there, and that could be there, and let's take this out, and like that's. You're pushing it through so many filters that, yeah, I'm not surprised there's so many differences in versions.
I guess so. Maybe it was just at the mercy of the distributor, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll post it on Facebook and on Instagram in some capacity so you guys can see what we're talking about, but it is bizarre.
Oh, yeah, we'll put the fucking video up.
But anyway, I just wanted to talk about that right here and now. Now, the first one, actually, the first little story.
Tennessee Fricassee, baby.
Oh, my God. I thought I was watching a Good Burger sketch.
The kid's like, you ever hear about this fucking lady at a restaurant? And then it cuts to fucking the Tennessee Fricassee's restaurant.
It cuts to a chunky chicken, all right? Like, we go...
Oh, my God, it is! Okay, it's canon. It's Chunky Chicken.
We're fucking right there, and like it's an upscale fucking Chunky Chicken though, like far away from wherever Charnetsky gets his, because this place is clean. It's got nice employees.
Well, this is like across town, the other Chunky Chicken.
They don't forget the buttered rolls at this one.
No, they don't forget the fucking honey for the roll, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Charnetsky's just standing outside the fucking chicken place, like looking in solemnly, eating the fucking biscuit.
They won't let him in.
I sit on my ass, I eat my fucking Chunky Chicken.
Tear rolls down his eye.
Why won't you let me inside? You tried to put us out of business last time, Charnetsky. Get out of here.
Don't fucking tell me that.
Just puts his greasy palm on the glass window and streaks it down the side, just leaving a huge grease stain.
Oh.
The manager's like, you can come inside if you take a fucking bath.
Well, he's in his bathrobe, right? And he fucking like he like just reaches in and like instead of like the black fucking tar shit from the black magic creeping into the forest, he like pulls out the fucking chicken grease and just wipes it on the fucking window there.
Yeah, that's what yeah, exactly.
He just marks it. They're like, oh no, he was here.
The sad thing is Charnetsky doesn't go and get his own chicken anymore. He makes Dobby do it. He puts him through fucking peril to get his chicken bones or his chicken in a bucket.
Yeah, he always had the kid get it, the punker kid.
Yeah, well, he's out of the picture now that he's ascended. Charnetsky, he doesn't deal with mortals anymore.
Well, sure, yeah. That's why they keep killing Dobby to send him to Earth to get Chunky Chicken.
Yep. My life is a horrible cycle.
Nobody fucking makes Chunky Chicken like they do in fucking wherever this is.
When Dobby dies at the end of Deathly Hallows, he gets buried by Potter and he wakes up in the fucking wizard's mansion.
Right.
But Harry Potter just buried me. Well, welcome back, Dobby. How many times have you died this time?
For the first time, right?
Oh, right, yeah, that was the first time.
I keep imagining Dobby's minding his own business, and Charnetsky walks up with a loaded revolver. He's like, guess what? I'm hungry. Bang!
He's got to die on the material plane to get back to the mansion, and then he's going to be killed at the mansion to get back to the material plane.
And he comes back, and he's like, you forgot my fucking biscuit. Bang!
It's a vicious cycle, man.
It's a living.
Oh, Dobby is fucked for life.
Dobby's existence is pain.
Oh, just give me a sock, please. That ain't gonna help you, little bastard. Go get my fucking chicken completely.
So this woman goes into this fucking fast food place to buy some food. And, she orders the bucket of chicken.
And a chocolate shake.
Oh, yeah, and a moose shake. She's got to get that.
She's got to wash it all down with the moose shake, dude.
Ugh,
Yep.
my stomach. Like,
This bucket of chicken, I don't know if we have to really paint a picture for you guys at home, but just think a KFC bucket of chicken, but it's like twice the fucking size.
It's a fucking 10-piece, man. What are you talking about? That's so many pieces of chicken for one person.
Yeah.
and a chocolate milkshake.
And I guess that's the joke, because then she goes and she takes the bucket and sits down, and before you go to see what happens, Dana Ashbrook fucking walks in. Bobby Briggs from Twin Peaks.
Bobby fucking Briggs.
Sure is.
Dressed like a goddamn biker.
Here's the thing. He walked in. I didn't see his face, and he speaks, and I was like, Bobby?
They only show him for like 2 seconds because he's like, I'll have some Gettysburg nuggets. And then like his girlfriend like slaps his ass. He's like, to go.
Oh my god.
This woman's eating her bucket of chicken, and it turns out that one of her pieces that she takes a big old fucking bite out of is actually a deep fried rat.
I'm starting to have a problem with the trend of rat violence in the movies we watch. It's starting to get a little disconcerting.
I didn't even think of that.
Every time it happens, I turn around and I'm like, you're fine, buddy.
Splinter took a ride up that fucking suckling sewer hole. He came out that toilet and fucking found his way into Tennessee Fricassee, man.
This is a timeline where the turtles don't happen because he was eaten by a fat woman in a chicken place.
Right, but the suckling is still trained in ninjutsu. And there's a mutated baby fetus out there somewhere doing ninjutsu.
So the suckling trains the turtles, what you're telling me.
Yes, but he's avenging Splinter by killing everybody that works at Tennessee Fricassee. It's classic. It's a classic movie.
I like how we're pitching scripts that will never get made.
This is the fucking MDU, dude. This is what happens. There are no Ninja Turtles here. It's the suckling.
We're already off the fucking radar, off the map.
Yeah.
We're off into the fucking space at this point, guys.
Prepubescent mutant ninja baby.
Get it? Print it on a t-shirt.
Dun 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 dun. Prepubescent ninja baby.
Oh my.
Flush down a toilet. Mutant power.
Holy shit. So she eats this rat and screams, and that's kind of that story.
And then they just kind of go into it, and there's like and then this is where I believe this is where the poodle would be inserted.
Okay.
So then he tells us, Sean Astin tells the story, like I said before, and the kid says the thing about the Goonies, and then Poodle, there it goes.
Then at some point, again, like, they're commenting on the fireflies in this guy's jar, and he's like, I put holes in it. And it's like, buddy, I don't think you did.
Yeah.
You're just killing these poor bastards.
Also, are your fireflies Christmas lights?
I love when the little kid goes, did she throw up? And the older brother goes, what are you, fucking stupid? How does he know that? And Sean Astin goes, I'm going to say she had the urge to regurge.
Well, you just ate a fucking deep-fried rat, so, yeah, that adds up.
I'm staying far away from that.
For those at home that don't know, Connor has a pet rat named Neobard.
Yes, he's behind me. He's sleeping right now. I'm glad he's not awake for this.
Oh, man. Do you think, like, he's going to save that rat? He's going to fucking, because he's Reverse Flash. He's going to go back in time and fucking just, like, snap that woman's neck? Or whoever was cooking the fucking fryer, right? Whoever's working the fryer?
I think he's sleeping, but he just keeps zipping out of his cage to go save rats from different instances.
He's got one eye open, just making sure you're not looking at him.
Yeah.
Do they just have, like, critters working in the kitchen? They're just, like, jumping around, like, fucking up, jumping in the salad and the burger ingredients and shit, just throwing whatever in the deep fryer and just handing it to the fucking workers.
Bitchin'.
Gordon Ramsay's in the back, like, just yelling at a bunch of fucking rodents, like, fucking roll!
The big one, right? Ugg is still in critter form.
Yes, yes.
So the next one is The Haunted Estate.
Oh, man.
And they talk about this place called Wacky Kingdom, which I love this, right? Instead of like, Magic Kingdom, it's supposed to be like a riff on the Haunted Mansion. And it's called Wacky Kingdom.
Not Eddie Murphy's Haunted Mansion, just want to clarify, not that horrid piece of shit.
Never saw it, tell you the truth.
The beautiful ride that I've ridden many times in my life.
It's so wonderful, the Haunted Mansion.
Stop talking about things that aren't real. That's not a real movie.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, good point, Connor. Exactly.
Doesn't exist. It's never happened.
I've never fucking seen it.
Let's keep it that way.
No one did. It's not real.
Just go ride the ride, goddammit.
Yeah.
Give Disney more money.
So this old guy gets on the ride, and it's the fucking guy from Home Alone in the airport.
Yes, Bill Irwin.
Bill Irwin, and she's like, oh, Ed, look, Catherine O'Hara's gonna give us a credit card, a Rolex, $300 cash, and the first class tickets tomorrow, and these earrings. Look at these earrings. And he's like, oh, she got a whole shoebox full of them, dangly ones. And then she's like, oh, the whole thing where she's like, oh, I'm desperate. And he's like, all right.
I'll take your stuff, too, but come on.
Well, I'll take your $300 in cash.
I'm pretty sure that old woman was also like the lady that gets with Cobblepot at the end of fucking Ernest Saves Christmas.
It's possible, dude.
I think it is.
So, yeah, it's like the Haunted Mansion ride, and it's just funny because this, Bill Irwin, this old man, is just like, why did I choose this ride? I should have chose the fucking the It's a Small World or whatever.
I should have went on the Alien Encounter. That wouldn't have given me a goddamn heart attack.
Yes, it fucking would have, old man.
P.S. I have a review of me coming off the Alien Encounter ride when it was still in Disney, like my dad filming me, and it lasts about 2 seconds because he gets bored.
Yeah, you've talked about it before. I think you said... He goes, hey, Joe, explain this ride to me, and you start talking, and he goes, all right, and just turns it off.
Yep, fact. I got to post that on the Instagram.
Little baby Joe.
Watch your hype and excitement get assassinated on camera.
Oh, yeah. And it's like, hey, this is a testament to my life.
The Alien Encounter ride scared the living shit out of me when I went on it, and I never went on it again. My brother loved it. My dad was into it. I was just like, I'll wait here.
I went on it twice the same day. I went in and it was awesome. I just went with my dad the first time. I was like, this is amazing. And then the second time I went in with, how you have like fake cousins and fake uncles?
Yes.
Sure, yeah.
And so I went in with my cousin and she freaked the fuck out.
Yeah.
It freaked me out. And then to see her like that in distress, like fucked me up. And then like I freaked out.
I mean, now it's like the Lilo and Stitch ride. I mean, I haven't been to Disney probably in like 10 years.
That thing was fucking booted out the door after like 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be a licensed xenomorph experience, or as it was pitched, and it was downgraded to a generic alien, and then downgraded again to, well, I guess upgraded depending on who you're talking to Lilo and Stitch.
Right.
Let me tell you something. That fucking ride was genius and amazing and scary and wonderful. Julie and I, my fiance, went on the the Lilo and Stitch version of it because I was like, fuck. I was like, it's not there, but now it's Lilo and Stitch. I was like, we got to go in because it's got to be similar, right? And everything's the same. It's just replaced with Stitch.
Well, yeah, which makes it way more kid-friendly because it's like, you know, if for people that have never been on it, well, I guess now you can never be on it if you haven't, but they basically, it's like this alien walks around and you're sitting in chairs, basically, and it's like a... I don't know how you would explain, like a special effects show, basically.
Yeah, it's a sensory it's attack on your senses.
It's a 4D performance show, essentially.
Yes.
What it is, with props, sound effects, and stuff that affects your chair and your physical being.
Yeah, it's like it's an assault on your senses, except sight, because the alien gets out and you're plunged into darkness, and then now I'm sorry, I have my soapbox here, so now I'm going to explain. I'm going to give you the fucking review.
I'm like picturing this in my head.
Yeah,
and I didn't like it as a kid. I can remember this vividly.
So you're strapped in this fucking chair. It's almost like a roller coaster with the overhead things, like the Batman ride. So you can't move or get up, obviously, because it's in the dark. These aliens they're supposed to be transferring one of their ambassadors to the ride, but instead it's They accidentally send an alien that breaks out of this glass case in the center of the room and plunges everything into darkness.
The way they show this, it's this big glass tube in the center of the fucking room, and they show it crack, and like the lights go through it, and you see like the steam, and they actually have this incredibly scary, from what I remember, looking alien that's like gyrating and shit in there, and then all the lights go out.
Yeah, it looks like, well, now that I'm thinking about it, it kind of looks like a crack. It has like a giant claw that it like smashes the fucking window with.
Oh, yes.
But what's cool is it can fly. So, like, it flies overhead and there's like air things bursting at you, so it feels like it's like flying over your head. And then there's like a heat vent in the back of your chair, and like it's like breathing on your neck, and you can hear it go ugh, and like you can feel it.
That's the part that got me.
Yep. And then like some dude is up in the rafters like, okay folks, like everybody just relax, like we're gonna have the power back on or whatever. He's got like a flashlight. Oh, you can see the flashlight. And the fucking alien kills him, his light goes out, and then as the alien is ripping him apart, they like shoot you with fucking water, like his blood is squirting on you.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. It was absolutely fucking wonderful.
I probably would have loved it if I was just a little bit older, but, you know, okay, so on a side note, the Lilo and Stitch ride, I think, goes a little too kiddie. It's like they almost went too far in the other direction, and like Connor said, maybe that's why it didn't last.
Well, sure, it's all the same. It's all the same shit, and like Stitch is like, breathe on your neck, and then like he's slobbering you, and like that's the wet shit or whatever.
Sure.
So, to match that story, I saw once a Friday the 13th 4D show.
What?
For the remake, which essentially is just a quick highlight reel of all the murders in that movie. Guess what that experience was like? It fucking sucked, because every time someone was stabbed, your chair poked you in the back.
Oh, yeah, they had that at the fucking Bugs Life ride, dude.
Yes, it was terrible. I'm like, thanks for the fucking pressure points. I don't want to be here ever again.
Yeah, that's shitty. What is that, the 4D thing? I know they have 4D theaters. I never was in one.
It was at the Fright Dome experience out in Vegas when I went there a few years ago, yeah.
Oh, gotcha. They have a 4D theater not too far from me in Stroudsburg, and it wasn't up and running, but they were going to show Crawl in there, and I feel like that
cool.
would be perfect because it's a storm the whole time and raining. Like, you know, you got the wind fucking going in there, a little bit of sprinkle going on while you're watching that. Love that idea.
You could definitely get like the breathing on the neck when there's fucking alligators and shit like going around.
Or fucking air underneath the seats.
Yeah.
You know, that's nothing new, right? Like, it's been around forever, since like the Tingler and shit.
I mean, I don't really go to like Six Flags or theme parks, especially with the pandemic, but like I haven't really made that a habit probably in like 8 or 9 years. But I used to, like, when I was in high school, early 20s, I used to go all the fucking time. So I don't know how different it is now.
I have no idea. I'm speaking from like, I don't know, 7 years ago.
Sure.
Was the last time. And that was Disney. I went to Disney 7 years ago. But yeah, back to the Willies.
Yeah.
nice little detour.
Nice little detour there.
Yeah. So we're at this haunted mansion, or the haunted estate rather, and this guy's going through this thing, and each thing is just one after another scaring the shit out of this guy.
I love this guy because he's like, oh no,
I'd like to get out now.
Oh, my heart, this is so scary.
Well, and it's like if you've ever been on the Haunted Mansion ride, they have like, you know, ghosts and shit like in the ride that you watch do stuff. And in this, it's like actually people that are like jumping out with him and like fucking harassing him.
Dude, I kind of love it if they had that, where because at this one point there's like a zombie that comes out and like grabs him and like he rips the zombie's arm off and shit. There's like a Jack the Ripper type killer that like kills this woman, slits her throat, and like shoots blood all over him, like actual green shit all over him.
Yeah, and she has a worse accent than anyone you've ever attempted, Joe. I don't know what the fuck she was doing there, but she's like,
"Help me, he's here."
She's like, help me, he's here. I'm like, oh, stop it, you're fucking hurting me. Like,
don't let him fight me.
Don't let him get me. He's gonna stab me with his knife.
He's near. He's here. He's gonna kill me.
I'm like, what are you, from all of Britain? Calm down. Like,
Couldn't decide where.
She's the actual stone in the block.
But yeah, she has green blood for some reason. And then Jack the Ripper, TM, drags her away.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Pizza face Jack the Ripper.
And then the ride comes to an end. He kind of strolls up to the attendant, played by Kimmy Roberts, another goddamn Twin Peaks fucking alumni, Lucy in Twin Peaks.
Oh, hey, Punky.
She is always the QED report woman from Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead for Me.
Oh.
Sue Ellen, I got the QED report.
She's got that voice. She is another person with a very distinct voice.
Yeah, as soon as I heard her, I was like, you're so adorable every time I see you.
She's also in Leprechaun 2 and with Clint Howard. Yeah.
Really?
They're like a couple.
Yeah, it's just the center of one of my favorite comedic bits from the Twin Peaks revival revolving her not understanding how cell phones work. But yeah, old man kind of gets off this ride, and don't we...
Oh, he doesn't get off this ride.
Yeah, he dies. That's the whole thing. She sees him. She's like, oh my God.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, there's like, you know, like they have the paintings where, on the Haunted Mansion ride where like it looks like a ghost is sitting next to you or whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, these paintings are like actual actors, like with frames around them, and this one dude jumps out, Farmer Hackett, ready to whack it, and he fucking brings his axe down between this guy's fucking crotch. And he seemingly dies of fright. And that's why they closed that ride down, man. That's why it's such a wussy ride now.
Yeah, I'm sure. Somebody only died on it, asshole. And then we get the proper title card.
Okay.
The Willies.
This is another thing. When they come out of this, on this cut of this version, for the DVD version, it's, they like cut from that to the boys again, and then like lightning strikes, and then it cuts to the card, the title card. But what happens in the VHS, and he's like, oh, that was creepy. But Sean Astin leans in and goes, on the tape, he goes, wow, that was creepy, but this story is guaranteed to give you the willies, TM. And then the lightning strikes, and then it cuts to the card.
What? Why the fuck would they cut that out?
I don't know. It's just strange. Like,
yeah, we gotta save 12 seconds here. Cut it.
Yeah. Well, we don't want them to say the name because we're going to show the name in a whatever.
How much do we gotta cut out to make sure it's our version and not the version from the people we bought it from? 2 minutes? Okay, let's make it happen, people.
It could be one of those things where it's like, well, we cut X, Y, and Z out, so now it's our version. You know, like we own this version of it.
I don't know what the fucking logic is.
Who knows?
Why does it say the title was a James Bond movie? Get that shit out of here.
But it's so good because he says that, and then fucking lightning cracks, and then the kids are scared, and then it cuts to the titles. And it's like this cool. It's not a storybook, but it's like these titles are neat because they're like framed out almost like a storybook with these cool pieces of art, and then it has like, you know, all the credits and shit. And it ends with this awesome piece of artwork of like, it almost looks like a Stephen Gammell drawing, like Scary Stories Stephen Gammell, where like there's this tent on a piece of earth, and like it's just like, how do I even describe it? There's like a pillar of dirt and then like this portion of earth with this tent on it, and then like a tree in like the middle of space. It's really cool.
Describing the art from scary stories to someone else without the actual picture in front of them is like, look, it's fucked up, all right? That's all I gotta tell you. It's just fucked up. Like,
you know, it's black and white, and things are stringy and drippy and disproportionate.
yeah, there's stuff that's dripping that shouldn't be dripping. There's stuff that's gooey that shouldn't be gooey, and everything's
Yeah.
just floating around.
Stuff has hair that shouldn't have hair.
Ugh.
You ever hear of Junji Ito? It's kind of like that, but tamer.
Kinda. Japanese Stephen Gamble.
See, Joe, a fun bit of trivia is that originally, before Sean Astin said the Willies, he looked at the camera and said, what are we, some kind of a Suicide Squad? And then it cuts to the title card.
Fuck that movie, by the way.
That's a whole nother conversation, dude.
Yeah, don't want to get off on that side tangent.
But yes, fuck it.
So we get I think we get a tiny bit more setup, but then we roll right into this first story.
Sean Astin mentions that, like, oh, you know, my dad knows this guy who was a janitor at this school, and he's like, oh yeah, and the kids are like, oh yeah, we know Uncle Harry fucking works at those schools, blah blah blah. We know that, Josh. And like, yep. Well, guess what? This really happened at this school.
Right.
And then we fade up, and then we meet fucking Danny Hollister and Greeley Elementary.
This poor kid is in a school of sociopaths.
Man, this poor motherfucker.
I wanted to reach to the fucking TV and grab these two fucks by the freaking throat. 3, actually.
3 of them. One of them's the kid from Growing Pains.
Why does that make so much sense now?
Not Kirk Cameron, the other guy, the other kid.
One of them looked like a baby Buttnick from Salute Your Shorts. Like, he had a giant orange mullet and like a little black sleeveless t-shirt. I'm like, oh my god.
The kid with the maiden shirt.
Yes.
Yeah. Rudy Kobelnicki is his name.
He's like, I wear an Iron Maiden shirt. I like heavy metal, so I'm an asshole, clearly.
Yeah, my brother likes it, so I'm gonna beat you up because you're a fucking little bastard or whatever.
Since we live in a town where there's no adults in sight.
No.
Well, you know, we don't have Rick Moranis to fucking help the kid out.
No. But we have James Cameron to help the kid out.
Yeah, Mr. Jenkins.
Mr. Jenkins, he's fucking helping all of the outcast nerdy kids.
I want to just say I have no fucking clue how this next part even happens.
This is magic, all right? Like,
these bullies, they pick on this main kid, Danny, just because he has glasses on. I'm not really sure what their beef is with this kid.
They fucking rip up his artwork. He won first prize, and they rip his fucking artwork off the bulletin board. I wanted to fucking kill them.
Why is that not locked?
Why? Yeah, right?
yeah, you could just grab it. That hurt my heart when he ripped it off, and it's like, oh, the edges.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, fuck. Like, that was really bad.
But if that wasn't enough, they then take a fire hose and fucking rope it around the friggin' pipes in the ceiling and hang this kid like he's Ollie in March of the Wooden Soldiers about to get dunked.
They give him a fucking fire hose diaper, and they hoist him up there.
They fucking John McClane this kid. Like, he's just fucking... He's one. Not only is he suspended via a fire hose diaper in some like crude pulley system. When you find him, he's got like handkerchiefs stuffed in his mouth, and like he's got other shit tied around him. Like, he's been run to the fucking ringer. It looks like he's been tarred and feathered.
Dude, he has got his first prize ribbon stuffed in his mouth.
Yes.
And he's and the way he's up there is okay. So I'm sure this isn't a thing anywhere anymore, but the way that it used to be for a long time was they had a fire hose that was like on a coil in schools or like public places like that, or like big buildings like that, where you can like pull this fire hose off and like turn it on, and if you needed like an emergency to put out a fire. So what this is like this big giant flat fire hose that they're able to wrap around this kid and then hoist him up using the reel that the hose wraps around.
Did they get a ladder? Did they ask an adult for help? These kids got to be like 4 feet tall max.
They got fucking help from Miss Titmarsh, dude.
We're going to get to her in a second.
Yeah.
Because they run off, and Mr. Jenkins, this janitor, this kind old man with glasses and this very stereotypical like janitor's outfit on, just gray with a bow tie in his name.
Fucking James Cameron, man.
Okay, yeah.
I met James Cameron at Monster Mania. I don't know, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. He was super sweet and super awesome, and him and his wife were great. I had him sign my Willie's tape, and he was just super psyched about it. And I think that's when I learned, when he was like, yeah, this was shot, in 85, didn't come out to blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know that, what have you. Yeah, but there's a quote a little later that I wanted him to put on it, and that quote is "Hello, handsome." And he wouldn't do it because he thought like I wanted him to do it for me.
What?
Yeah, he like wouldn't do it because he's like, oh, that's gay or whatever. I'm not gonna do that. And I'm like, dude, no, you say that in the movie about yourself. I'm like, that's my favorite line because of the context it's in.
Oh my lord.
I'm not coming on to you, Mr. Karen. I'm just
Yeah,
trying to.
dude, like, yeah, because he looks so perplexed, and he's like, I think I'll just put, I'll just do this. I'm like, okie dokie.
Closet homophobe?
I don't know, dude. It was weird. But R.I.P. He was a sweet dude.
After that story, R.I.P.
Well, I didn't mean to put him on blast, but like it was just strange because
Yeah, why not, right?
I figured he would be like, I don't know, into it or like get it. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
It's one of the only pieces of dialogue he has.
You would assume if he was like psyched that you had the VHS.
Exactly.
Well, he comes whistling up with this fucking cart of janitorial supplies, and he finds this kid hanging up. He's like, huh? How the hell did that happen?
Takes his merry time. He's like, whoa, Danny, what are you doing up there? Well, that seems real unfortunate. I'm like, will you just stop taking your sweet ass time and get this kid off the ceiling?
Well, it's not like he can just cut the fucking, proverbial line. He has to, like, unwind the hose, give it some slack.
Well, he certainly chats him up before he decides to do that.
He's like, yeah, you're going to tell me who it was, right? Yeah. So then he gets him down and he pulls it out of his mouth and he's like, yeah, it was those bullies. It wasn't? And he's like, I can't tell you. They'll beat me up more. He's like, but you didn't tell me. Let's say you didn't tell me. It was so-and-so. I forget what is the bully's name? Do you remember, Connor?
I have no idea. I was just calling him Baby Buttnick.
Oh, I like that, Baby Buttnick. So he's like, so it was Baby Buttnick, wasn't it? But it was Iron Maiden, the kid with the Iron Maiden shirt on, that heavy metalhead. And he's like, yeah, just, you can't let him know that I told you. And he's like, don't worry about it. And, so he runs off to class and, he gets to class and this fucking teacher, Miss Titmarsh.
Yeah, Kathleen Freeman, dude, from fucking Gremlins 2. She's like on the cooking show.
Yeah. Doesn't she like, I forget, does she like cook a gremlin or start attacking one in the kitchen?
No, she's like, oh, bean dip roll-ups or whatever, and then she's like, now let's move on to our chowder noodles, and she like opens it and fucking Daffy pops out and like squirts her with a fucking turkey baster.
Yeah, I mean, look her up. She's in a ton of stuff, but if you've seen Hocus Pocus, she's the teacher that's basically, Max's fucking teacher.
And she's, what else too? We were going back and we watched the original Fly series.
Sure.
The first one and Return of the Fly and Curse of the Fly.
Vincent Price.
Yeah, dude. She's in the first movie.
Holy shit.
As like the maid. And I'm like, holy, I've never seen her so young. Like, I've only seen her as she is in this movie as like the old lady playing the teacher or whatever.
It's like seeing young Leslie Nielsen or like Judi Dench or Helen Mirren. You're like,
sure.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm. She is a total bitch to this kid, and I don't use that word lightly. Because she's like, you're late for class. What the hell was the holdup? Sit in your seat. You got to take a test. He's like, sorry, Miss Titmarsh.
This teacher and the one from Prancer clearly went to the same educational establishment to get their teaching degrees because they both excel at singling out kids in their class who are vulnerable and making fools out of them.
Yeah. Like, how blind can you be? You don't see that this poor kid is getting picked on by these three snot rags in the fucking corner?
Well, she's doing it too, man. She doesn't give a shit.
Oh, yeah, no. She's like, you got to hand out the pop quiz. She's like, everyone's favorite topic, fractions. You have 50 minutes. I'm like, God damn, lady, you're really fucking putting these kids in peril. This is a hard test. So yeah, he hands the test out, and they do this bit where, Danny has to use the bathroom because he never got a chance to go before class because he was hanging up in the fucking rafters. And she's like, I can't believe you're trying to leave to go to the bathroom in the middle of a test. It's probably because you are trying to cheat. And he's like, no, I really have to go, Miss Titmarsh.
Dude, let me preface this with the fact that, like, he's raising his hand and she, like, blatantly ignores him. She looks up and just, like, continues reading.
Yeah.
This fucking kid goes up to the front of the class and is standing there, and she just ignores him while he stands there. He has to say her name twice before she acknowledges him, and then embarrasses him in front of the fucking class by asking them if they think he should be allowed to go to the bathroom. That is some ugly ass fucking shit.
I had a teacher like this.
I think we all did, right?
Yeah.
I think every kid at least has one.
Yeah, I definitely had a teacher like this in Silver Bay.
3rd grade for me.
Yeah, also 3rd grade.
I definitely, one comes to mind, Mr. Wilson, high school.
Mr. Tilka for me.
Guy was a fucking asshole. He loved Bill O'Reilly. Need I say more? Yeah, he was known for embarrassing other students in class. He made let's not go into it anyway.
That man, that Mr. Tilka, my teacher, is the man solely responsible for, well, not solely, in duality with, is the reason why I'm horrible at math. Because making a spectacle of somebody in your classroom is not a good way for them to learn things.
Maybe don't take your fucking personal problems to work, but what do I know?
Maybe don't take it out on a fucking 11-year-old. How about that?
Yeah, it won't hobble that kid for life. No, not at all.
No.
Yeah, no.
She finally lets him go to the bathroom, and this kid, like, is about to piss his pants. He has to go so bad. He is, like, fucking running down the hallway, and he makes it to the bathroom just in time, but, goddamn, someone dropped a monster BM on this one fucking toilet.
It's out of order. It's all fucked up, man. The fucking Drainiac was in that motherfucker.
I stopped to use a bathroom at a Burger King the other day, and I swear to God, the toilet I saw in this movie resembled the toilet I saw at this Burger King. And I walked up to the counter and said, "Get somebody in there before I make a fucking phone call."
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
When he first goes in the bathroom, by the way, this, like, cart of supplies is blocking the entrance. Like, the door's not locked, I'm assuming, because there is no lock.
Well, yeah, because it's Mr. Jenkins, like, after Danny goes to class, Mr. Jenkins, like, pushes in his cart and closes the door to the boys' bathroom. And then, like, in a silhouette, we see Mr. Jenkins, like, hit himself in the head. And you're like, what the fuck is going on?
I think they're trying to imply that he is knocked the fuck out, but it's just shot, like, in a way that it just looks like he's punching himself in the head.
Yeah, almost like he has something wrong with him, though. Like he's a psychopath or something. I don't know. Like he's got like a split personality or something.
He gives himself like a palm strike to the temple. He's like, like,
yeah, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So Danny goes in there, and the fucking, all of Mr. Jenkins' shit is like blocking the door. So he goes in, and the first stall's taken, and he's like, oh, sorry. And he goes to the second one, and like Sean said, fucking Drainiac was there, fucking BM all over the place.
There was a bomb in there, but not the one he was looking for.
No, man. Looked like the Hulk fucking took a shit in there.
Ooh.
So then he goes back to the first stall, and he's knocking on it, and then he just opens it, and then we get our first look at this fucking monster that's in this toilet. Gets scared out of his fucking mind, and he runs back to his classroom, and he's like, "Oh, Miss Chipmunk, there's a fucking monster in the bathroom, blah, blah, blah." And she's like, what the fuck? What the fuck's wrong with you? And, like, he's got a big piss mark on the front of his pants.
Ah! I felt so bad for this kid.
Dude, and she's like, you are fucking disgraceful. He's like, I'm gonna call your mother and tell you she should wear fucking diapers. You should wear diapers to school.
She might as well have stood up and just fucking pointed at it and said, look, class, Danny pissed himself.
Yeah, and the kids are fucking laughing at him, and they're like, Danny pissed his pants, hey, you fucking geek.
It's not cool to pee your pants, Danny.
No, it's definitely not, and he sure as shit ain't Miles Davis.
I also love how the monster reacts, because he's almost like, what the fuck, kid, taking a shit? Who'd your mother teach you any fucking manners? God damn it!
The lock is broken, I'm trying to wipe my ass.
This monster, by the way, is pretty cool looking.
I love it.
It's, I don't know how you really would explain this, but it's tall and lanky.
Mm-hmm. It's very thin.
Yes. It comes out of a toilet and it's brown, which I thought was an odd combination. Sure, why not?
Toilet monster. It kind of looks like a reptilian skull.
Yeah.
Like a brown reptile skeleton monster.
It's almost like a fully cooked suckling.
Yeah, I think so. Like suckling in the oven too long?
Yeah, well, like the proper amount.
Yeah, oh, perfectly baked. Yeah, golden brown, baby.
Yeah, not aborted, actually born, and this is what it turned into.
It's very lanky. It's all limbs, kind of, and you can tell because its knees are fucking bent and it's hovering over the fucking toilet seat when he sees it. It's almost like I said before, like he's trying not to be seen taking a shit.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's akin to the flying demon in House, like that skull.
Oh, yeah.
Thing.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's very similar to like that face. except it has eyeballs.
Sure. Yeah, no, I can see it.
So Titmarsh sends him back to the bathroom to clean himself up, and he's scared out of his wits. So he goes in this fucking place. And he opens the stall. There's no monster. But he's still looking around, right? Because he's like, I saw this fucking thing. Like, where is it, right? So he goes to the janitor's closet that's in the boys' bathroom. And he opens it up. And Mr. Jenkins' fucking body is there. And his head is next to his body.
This is kind of where I figured it out.
Sure.
But I was totally okay with it because I was really enjoying what was happening on screen.
Fuck yeah.
I kind of figured it out the second he walked in the bathroom and closed it behind him, and they lingered on him. I'm like, all right, yep, it's him.
Yeah, sure. It took me a little longer, but the second you see that, you're like, okay, yeah, sure, I'm into it.
But it's so good.
Yeah. So then he sees that, and that freaks him the fuck out, but he doesn't see the monster this time, so he books it back to class.
Not yet, because he does see the monster again, because he's like, oh my God, Mr. Jenkins, he's in the closet. And the fucking monster opens the stall, and the kid throws a fucking urinal cake at him.
Oh, right. Yeah, that is disgusting, by the way.
And the monster catches it and fucking wings it back at him and explodes.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And the way this kid gets out of this bathroom is that because, like, again, like, it's like old school bathroom, so it's like powdered soap, not liquid soap. So he takes the powdered soap and fucking throws it in this monster's face and like runs out of the bathroom back to class.
Joke's on Danny, that was cocaine.
No, he's supercharged monster. Daniel Baldwin was in there and he was like, ha.
It's fucking Haggerty hit a stat, not Haggerty,
Haggerty.
Haggerty. Haggerty his stash there.
Yeah, Meteor Man pushed him on his ass.
Get off me, coke boy.
Just a cloud of smoke fills the bathroom.
Oh shit, man, that was my blow. It's all gone now.
Yeah, it's blown away.
What are you doing touching my stuff, kid? I don't mess with your things.
Yeah, why don't you just leave my fucking coke dispenser alone? What do you mean I'm not allowed to sleep in the stall?
What the fuck is soap?
Meteor Man just turns to him. Yeah, why the fuck are you storing this in an elementary school? Yeah, I'm a fucked up kind of guy, man.
I answer to a higher power, okay? I don't care if you have superpowers.
I am a higher power.
I'm outdoors, man. I got evicted. What do you mean? I needed to live somewhere with a toilet.
I am a higher power.
Are you hiring a Santa Claus for your elementary school?
You're probably gonna need a janitor, right?
I'm on the Brute Squad.
Yeah, he gets hired after the end of this fucking film. He gets the replacement.
Come on, Titmarsh, I need a job. I'm living out of the fucking boys' bathroom.
You are?
I mean, no, I'm not.
I mean, no, I'm not sleeping there. I'm not squatting.
Literally.
So he runs out of the fucking bathroom back to class. He goes, Miss Titmarsh! Miss Titmarsh! Miss Titmarsh! Somebody kill Mr. Jenkins! And she's like, all right, enough of this fucking shit. Like, you're taking me down there right now, mister.
It pulled off his head.
And if it was up to me, you'd be expelled.
Dude, she is like, you're gonna fucking pay for this if you're lying to me, motherfucker. Like, he's like permanent. She's like, says some shit like, you're gonna be permanently suspended?
Yeah.
Like, what are you even talking about?
Which is expelled. She goes full Wrath of Trunchbull on this kid. Like, she gets up and she's like, "Ugh!"
Yeah, he's one step away from the chokey dude.
Yeah.
This is fucking elementary school. What are you talking about? You're gonna expel him.
You didn't do your fractions, you little bastard.
You peed your pants. God, I hate you. I hate children.
I fucking hate you especially because I'm just gonna join in on the rest of the fucking kids bashing you.
I was so fucking happy that he took her back to this bathroom. I was like counting down on my fucking watch until she was about to eat the dust.
Well, she kind of forces him to, and I'm like, okay, here you go.
Yeah, see you later, you fucking asshole. So she goes in, and of course it's like immaculate in there now, and she's like, Danny, you're wasting my fucking time. Where is this? Where's the monster? There's no monster. She's like, it's right in there. I swear to God, I didn't make it up.
She's like, here's your monster. Sick vandalism. You kids today don't know how to fucking use a bathroom. It's not your property, so you don't give a shit.
Yeah, in the out of order one, there's just like a little toilet paper like in a weird spot, and she's like complaining, like, what do you think this is? You think a maid's gonna come in?
Yeah. And fucking Danny's just sitting there, and right above her, right above the stall, is like this little grate that I guess leads up to the attic. and it lifts, and this monster just fucking emerges from the ceiling behind her, and Danny pisses his pants for the second time.
Kind of justified this time, I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She fucking spins around and sees this thing, and the first reaction is to hit it with a book that she has in her hand.
I love this.
This fucking monster rips this book out of her hand and fucking slaps this woman in the face like 3 fucking times with this book, and then proceeds to like he has these weird like 3-toed feet that like can grab shit, like almost like a bird. It looks like, right, like a eagle or some shit.
Like a talon.
Yeah, grabs this woman by the fucking shoulders and hoists her through this fucking 1x1 hole in the ceiling, and just
Dude, he monster under the stairs is this woman.
oh yeah. And fucking sloop right up that fucking hole, and just like blood just shoots into the fucking toilet.
Before blood shoots into the toilet, and he lifts her up, there is a quick cut of a solid object plooping right into the fucking toilet.
That's your shoe, I believe.
Was that the shoe or the book?
Was it a shoe? Because I blinked and I was like, did she just shit herself?
Oh man, she just dropped that huge log. She dropped the fucking suckling out of her.
I was like, did that just happen?
I mean,
But it being a shoe makes way more sense.
yeah, I like your version, though, Connor.
Drops one out real quick.
Yeah, whatever was fucking rested in that colon just came fucking firing out of there, right into the toilet.
So then Danny, he runs back to the classroom again, and of course, because the teacher's out of the room, they're fucking throwing papers at each other, just fucking creating chaos. No one's cheating on the test, though, which I find amazing.
I love how quickly it descends into, like, grade school chaos. Like, the second they leave the room the first time, like a paper airplane is already whizzing across the fucking room, and then the spitballs come out, and there's crumpled up paper. I'm like, it just descends into chaos within 2 seconds. Like, I love it.
I love this trope because in a lot of these kids movies, this scene is verbatim, like across a few different kids movies. They do the same thing in Munchie, where like as soon as the teacher's like, don't move, and then she leaves, and then fucking everybody just happens to have an arsenal of crumpled up paper and airplanes, and they just throw it all over the fucking room at each other. Love it.
So then he comes back, and he's screaming and shouting again, and this time...
He goes, Mitt Tishmar, she's dead. And they're like, what are you talking about, Danny? You're full of shit, Danny. Little Danny's scared or whatever. The fucking kid from Growing Pains is like, yeah, where's Miss Boob Swamp?
Her name is already Titmarsh. It's already perfect. You didn't need to switch it up.
I know, but like that's the gag, right? Like, oh, Boob Swamp.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, right.
But yeah, so Danny's like, yeah, if you don't believe me, go fucking see for yourself, you little dickhead. And he's like, fine, you know what? We will. Come on, guys. We're not scared of a monster in the bathroom. So they go down there, and kid from Growing Pains is like, yeah, maybe Danny took a dump and just thought it was a monster. So they go in, and while they're in there, Danny like pushes over a fucking water fountain in front of the door so they can't get out.
Yes. This kid is a genius.
And the most sweetest revenge happens.
These kids get let the right one end, I guess is the phrase I would use.
That is fucking 110% accurate.
These kids get fucking... These kids get absolutely fucking savaged by this monster.
Feed it to my friend the monster.
The difference in Let the Right One In, one of them shows remorse and is spared. This time, none of them are.
No, because fuck them. They're all bastards.
This monster takes no prisoners and saved Baby Buttnick for last.
Baby Buttnick gets fucking street trashed by this monster.
Dude, the kid from Growing Pains gets grabbed into the stall and hung up on the stall, and the monster like points at him for a second.
He's pointing to the kid like it's the WrestleMania sign.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And then fucking like runs his thumb across his throat. No, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And then he proceeds to rip this kid apart, but you don't see it, but you see like the door shaking and like a bunch of like the kid's wearing a vest, right? So all the down from the vest is like flying all over the bathroom.
I was gonna say like the kid punches him 3 times and the monster just goes then hulks up.
Ooh.
Then points at him.
This scene is so creepy to me. I think because I was really stoned one time watching this, but it's always stuck with me. But like, when the monster like grabs the outside of the door and like pushes it open slow, that plus the music cue here is like, I don't know, man. There's something. It's like do. It's I don't know. It's just fucking creepy to me. Anyway,
too much time on my hands. Sorry.
Oh, dude, recut it with that fucking with sticks to this scene. Battle of Cold Brew.
After the bullies are eviscerated, Danny just runs home. He just leaves. He's like, I'm done.
I love how Danny's just listening to these bullies get eviscerated in the bathroom, and he's just like soaking it up, and then he's just like, okay, gets his time to leave, and just walks away.
I laughed so hard because he essentially goes, and just goes home.
All my problems are gone. That's his thought.
Thanks, gargoyle bathroom or bathroom gargoyle.
And then speaking of, like, Joe, you mentioned how, like, he's in the quote-unquote attic. Why is there just, like, an attic above this bathroom in the middle of the school that Mr. Jenkins, a.k.a. Because you find out the monster is Mr. Jenkins as he puts his skin back on.
Dude, I love this scene.
The one shot where he is, after he puts his face on, and then it cuts back, and he's got, like at some point it's very clearly like it's not a human, and then when it cuts back and it's very clearly the actor, like they have a piece of like skin attached to his neck that's like flapped out over his shirt.
Yeah,
it's seamless looking. I can't see the difference. It's so fucking good looking.
First of all, this attic is very creepy. It's lit very well. It just looks great.
Yeah,
James Cameron's sitting in there, and this is where I got the line that I wanted him to put on to sign on my VHS, because it pans up through the hole in the attic, and you see his face on the ground, and he goes and picks it up, and he goes, "Hello, handsome," and he picks up his fucking face. And it's so cool, though, because the way this makeup is done is that, like, the lower half of the jaw of the monster has been applied to James's chin. So when he puts his head down, it's James Cairns' face, and, like, he's pulling the skin over it, and it looks so fucking good. And then he has he flips his skin for his hands down like gloves, and he like puts his fucking hands back in it. It's just really, really well done. And like Connor said,
it's the right amount of creepy without actually being creepy.
Yeah. And like Connor said, when it cuts back and you see his face again, he's got a prosthetic of like a skin flap underneath James Cairns' neck that he tucks into his shirt. It's just really, really well done.
Basically, I think Mr. Jenkins is, Mr. Jenkins has disappeared. We don't know what happened to him.
Well, Clu Gulager walks in.
Yes, he did. Oh my God, yes it was.
Yeah, he's also from Return of the Living Dead, and he's also from another film we're going to be doing, The Uninvited.
Yes.
He's also in Nightmare 2. He's the dad, is he not?
And he's the dad in Nightmare 2, he sure is.
Yes.
Brian Peck was calling in all his fucking buddies from Return of the Living Dead.
Sure was. And Growing Pains.
Yeah.
I got a great story for Clu, but I'm going to save that for the Uninvited episode. But yeah, Clu walks in, he's like, "What? Jesus Christ, what the fuck happened in here?"
His reaction is very subdued for what he sees.
Dude, this bathroom is trash. There's blood and shit all over this bathroom. And toilet paper.
And he's like, "Oh man, this is a mess."
Like, what in God's name?
I better call someone to clean this up.
How does Mr. Jenkins not get caught? He's just hiding in this, like, pseudo-attic. No one knows to look up there.
I guess not, right? But he's still up there at this point, is he not? Or he's gone?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Unless he has teleportation powers that we're unaware of.
John Hurt.
Maybe.
Opened up that fucking portal in that attic.
Rolls into a portal, comes out in a different town.
There you go. He's got technology from him that he stole from fucking John.
Yeah, because we come to find out that, basically the parent is like, of one of these bullies is like, "Where's my son? Where's my son?"
Well, the thing with this, real quick, this is another weird cut for this DVD thing, because Clu Gulager comes in and says that, but then it cuts to like an exterior shot, and there's this insert shot of Sean Astin talking about, he says, and then he moved to a different school. Like, it's obviously like a ADR thing. In the tape, that doesn't happen.
Really?
Yeah, it goes from Clu Gulager right to this next scene. And in the DVD, there's like this insert scene of like an establishing shot, and then Sean Astin going, and then he went to another school.
I was gonna say, because it felt like an epilogue. Like, it wasn't a seamless transition. Like,
right.
Because, like, to me, the story was over. It's like, I never saw him again. But he moved. It's like, oh, I'm getting additional.
Well, yeah, because Sean Astin says, well, yeah, he goes to a different school, and then it shows the scene at a different school where it's like, yeah, Mr. Jenkins, we know you're new, but have you seen this kid? I know you don't know all the students yet. And he's like, nope, no idea.
Mrs. Walters, Patrika Darbo, which she is totally a that woman. She's been in a ton of shit.
Yes. But she's like, oh, you haven't seen him at all? He's like, oh, that kid? He's like, yeah, he was kind of being a little shit this morning.
What a piece of garbage your kid is.
My son Jordy, he's like 3'5". He's wearing a plaid shirt or whatever. And she's like, yeah, he's a real fucking bad apple, lady. Your son was beating up kids, taking the lunch money and shit.
Yeah.
And the principal's like, I don't think this is the time for this shit. And he's like, yeah, well, I calls him as I sees him. He's a fucking scumbag, and he should be taught a lesson.
I hope your son's dead.
I fucking ate him in the bathroom.
Yeah, well, he's about to wash the window, and they walk away, and I don't know why I found this funny, but he, instead of grabbing a sponge, he pulls out clearly this kid's fucking tattered shirt after he ate him.
Yeah.
It's soaked in blood, and he just starts cleaning the window with the shirt, and I'm like, that's a good way to get caught.
Yeah, but I love it, man.
Oh, I love it, too. I just thought it tickled me.
Oh, yeah, it's classic.
I was doing the cut sign. I was like, Jenkins, are you tapping out? Like, is this you clocking out? Like, a little more effort, man.
I gotta say, too, Jenkins, you're a bit of a scumbag yourself. I mean, you got a moral compass, but you're eating kids.
Yeah, like not giving them time to like fix themselves. But let me tell you something.
Right, yeah.
But usually bullies don't, right? They usually don't fix themselves, especially ones like that.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Fuck them. Let them eat them. I don't give a shit.
He's hungry.
Guy's got to eat, you know what I'm saying?
He's a preventative system.
So then we go back to the tent.
Yeah.
And basically get a little bit more banter, and then the older brother is like, you want to hear a real scary story?
Well, the kid goes, just real quick first, because I want to plant that seed for later. He's like, oh, he knew Uncle Harry, this guy? And Sean S is like, yeah, they were very close. It's true. It's all true. You can ask him later.
Bum, bum, bum.
And I think this is actually where I said it happened earlier, but I think it's actually this scene where the flies are dying, the fireflies, and the older brother's just like, yeah, you kill those flies. He's like, I knew someone that used to kill flies. This guy, Gordy Belcher.
You better be careful. You're going to end up like Gordy Belcher.
And then he rolls into his story, starring Michael Ray Bauer.
As Gordy Belcher.
I lit up when I saw him, to be honest.
Yeah, he's great in this.
Oh, yeah. Especially after the conversation we've had with him.
Oh, yeah.
I watched this in a completely different light. Now, again, I've seen this a million times, but like I watched it with a totally different perspective. And especially all of those little tidbits that he was talking about. I watched for all of them.
There's a bunch of characters in this, but the two that stood out to me were Michael Bauer and this fucking farmer.
Spivey?
Yes. He was also hilarious.
Motherfucker looks like Alice Cooper, dude. Ralph Drischel.
Well, like if he was a farmer?
Yeah.
He kind of looked like a cross between like Clint Howard and what's his nuts? The guy who plays the Fonz.
Henry Winkler?
Yes, he looked like a cross between those two.
He looks like Henry Winkler in An American Christmas Carol.
Oh man,
I have never seen that.
We gotta be hush hush on that, Joe.
Oh, I'm sorry. I let that slip. We're gonna not this year, but soon.
This is how you find out, Connor.
Ask and ye shall get. So yeah, so this is the second. There's like other segments in the beginning, but really it's an anthology of 2 stories with a couple of shorts.
Yeah.
So this is the other big story called Flyboy.
Man, this kid, I wanted to like him. He seemed like he needed a little love, just a friend. But he's kind of an asshole.
Some TLC, if you will. So Michael Ray Bauer intrudes on Spivey's farm, right? And he kicks this fucking guy's fence open to like get in there.
Oh my god. You guys are in for a treat when you hear him explain how this scene went down in the interview.
Oh man, it's wonderful.
I don't want to spoil it here. It's a good one.
No, don't spoil it. You definitely got to listen to that interview. Again, we interviewed Michael Ray Bauer for this film. Yeah, he you know, Gordy like goes into this fence and like goes onto this farmer's property, and you know, there's no setup except for the fact that like he's stealing this guy's manure and putting it into a jar. You don't know what for yet. He's filling it up and he's going to leave. And he fucking knocks over a bunch of fucking like rakes and shit. And by the way, this guy Spivey, who looks like fucking Alice Cooper, is like in his shed making. So he's like this chemist or something. He's like a mad scientist.
Yeah, he's like Clint Howard in Ticks.
Ah, you stole the words. You took it first.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that's where you were going with it.
I am telling you, dude, him and Clint Howard and Ticks are like on the same piece of property.
I think they're brothers. Like,
Yeah, dude, he like trades him fucking miracle manure for like tick weed. You think?
It strangely matches up almost perfectly.
Dude, it's so close. One makes giant whatevers and the other one makes giant ticks.
I would argue they do the same thing, just with different applications.
I think so too, but Spivey's got that secret ingredient. Oh, that's right. So that's what it is. Spivey's secret ingredient that he never tells anybody about is the toxic waste overrun from Clint Howard's fucking machine, hydroponic system.
That's what I was thinking.
Also, they are dressed the exact same way.
Pretty much. So Spivey comes out and he's like, "God damn it, Gordy Belcher, you fucking lard ass." He's like, what are you doing stealing my shit again? And he's like, "Fuck you, old man." This guy shoots a hole in a fence, like right next to Michael Ray Bauer.
From like 10 feet away.
Yeah.
Well, he's giving Belcher a hard time. He's like, "You're messing up my fence," and he's like, "You just blew a goddamn hole in it."
You old idiot. And yeah, so basically, like, he's like, "Get the fuck off my property, or next time I'm gonna fucking put a hole in you."
Well, then fucking Michael Bauer, he plows through these planks of wood. Totally destroys them.
He's like, "I'm tired of you coming on my property and messing up my fence."
So he just destroys it.
He sure does.
Goddamn fat boy, get back in my son.
God damn it, I'll tell you what. Welcome to my nightmare, Kaplooey.
God, it's gonna take me 10 minutes to load this shotgun again. My fucking fingers don't work the way they used to.
Feed my Frankenstein, sir.
School is out forever and get off my fucking property.
I'm 18 and I like... Well, that doesn't make sense.
He's back, the man behind the mask.
He's Gordy Belcher, apparently. Or Farmer Spivey, depending on how you look at it.
I like how his threats are just Alice Cooper songs.
Yeah, they're just Alice Cooper lyrics.
I think we just named all the good ones.
You know, no more Mr. Nice Guy. I'm going to shoot a hole in my fence. Okay, there we go. Now, I think that was it. That was the last one, yeah.
Yeah. So Gordy goes home, and this kid must live like miles from the school because he's walking through traffic. He's walking across the fucking countryside.
Yeah, he traverses the whole fucking Lord of the Rings series to get home.
Yeah.
I would say, it looks like he passes through, like, does he live in Innsmouth? Like, this town is so weirdly set up.
No, dude, he lives in Dunwich, clearly.
Okay. I'm sorry, Innsmouth is where the fucking bleeders happen, so yeah.
Yeah, Innsmouth is a shore town. The inbred ones is Dunwich.
There we go.
The country folk. So he leaves Spivey's house, and he's, like, walking downtown, and he goes to, like, the pharmacy, and we find out that he also has asthma, and he, like, takes a huffer or whatever, which, like, just adds another layer to this kid, right? Like, it's bad enough that he's the outcast, and, like, nobody likes him or whatever, but he also has asthma, you know? It's like a whole thing. He goes to the pharmacy, and he goes to steal a fucking bottle of nail polish remover, and he, like, takes it, and he's on his way out, and the fucking guy, the pharmacist is like, Gordy, can I help you with something? And he's like, sure.
Fine.
You want some asthma medication? And, like, right here, all I thought was Mr. Keene from It.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just like, "Oh, Gordy, it's water, H2O, Gordy." Anyway, he buys a fucking lollipop and fucking makes off with this fucking nail polish remover.
Yeah, like the guy doesn't want to like call him on it directly, and he's like, it's like $12, whatever.
$12? That nail polish remover better not be $12 in fucking 1988.
Also, back then, loss prevention wasn't the way it was. He could have tackled the fuck out of Michael Ray Bauer in that scene if he wanted to.
Not only that, but when you really think about it, when was that? 1980s? It was the 80s when we started putting the safety seal on medicine because of that whole thing where people were like poisoning the fucking Tylenol bottles.
Oh, yeah. Remember that?
That was fucking scary. My Favorite Murder did a great episode on that. You should probably go listen to that.
Yeah. So he's walking home with his stolen merchandise, and this fucking... It's like, it just made me think of Men in Black, the fucking bug car, the exterminator car driving down the street.
Yeah. My hand's behind my head. Yeah, fucking Vincent D'Onofrio's driving this fucking thing.
Where do you keep your dead?
And it's like, it's not even the same kind of car. It's just because it has like some big ass bug on the top of it.
This fucking guy driving this thing So Michael Ray Bauer, or Gordy Belcher, excuse me, is petting this cat and then like barks at it to scare it because he's a dick. And like the cat runs into the middle of the road, and this exterminator driving this car with this giant bug on it fucking like goes to miss the cat and like swerves, and there's like an old lady walking across your groceries. I laughed so fucking hard.
Yeah.
Because this guy with his coffee in the exterminator car is like spilling it all over himself like wildly.
Oh my god, he needs a doctor. Like,
Like, is Michael J. Fox driving this fucking car?
He's like Ray Stantz trying to smoke a cigarette. It just keeps falling out of his mouth. So he almost hits this woman, and he stops short, and the fucking giant fly on the top of his roof flies off. It doesn't land on her or anything, but it's like right in front of her, and this woman's like, "Oh, I got a giant bug!" And she's like hitting it with her purse. She's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" He's like, "If you break that, I have to pay for it."
Oh, shit, lady.
I was like, buddy, it's broken. Like, it flew off the fucking top of your vehicle.
Yeah, that's it, dude.
And I was sitting here like, foreshadowing. So he goes home, and they have like this craning shot of him going in the house, and it kind of pans up on the outside, and then you see him come into his bedroom, and you see all these flies near his window between, like, I think it's like in a coffee can.
Yeah, and it's a great shot too. Just real quick, I want to talk about it because I love practical trick shots, right? So
Yeah.
they have this crane set up, and the way that they do it is it's low for Gordy. He goes into his house, and then it like pans up the side of the house, and he like goes upstairs. And then the camera comes up and like goes into the window, and like Gordy comes in the room and like does his whole thing. But it's just it's just really well done, and I always want to point that out because I really appreciate it.
Well, and he has like, I'm assuming it's dirt or manure of some kind on like a paper plate.
Oh, it's manure for sure.
And he takes the coffee can up and he wipes it away, and basically he's like resetting his fly catcher.
Yeah, so what he does is he always goes to Spivey's to like get the manure to catch flies. That's all he's using it for.
He also doesn't wash his hands after he touches this, by the way.
Yeah, this character made my skin crawl. Like,
But like manure is just shit mostly, right? Mixed with like hay and some other like fetid material.
yeah, it's shit, soil, hay, like earth, like yeah.
Question: why doesn't he just use sugar? Why doesn't he just put sugar on that plate?
Well, because then there's no plot.
Yeah, because like the thrust of his character is that he's just fucking disgusting.
I know. I just got, I'm that's what we do. We poke the fucking holes in it. But I'm just saying.
Well, then he takes it over to his desk and he's starting pulling flies out. And I'm like, what the fuck is this guy gonna do to these things?
Yeah, he catches these flies. He like takes them out of this thing, goes downstairs, and his mom's like making dinner or whatever. And he's just very dismissive. Like, she's like, "Oh, I'm making your favorite dinner," and he's like, "Yeah, whatever. I don't give a shit." And he like goes into this basement dungeon thing, and he like starts playing. He like hits a boombox, and he's playing like this classical music. It's very sad.
Well, that's the thing.
But also very like exquisitely morbid. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Well, they're really trying to make you feel for this character, even though he's about to do some serial killer ass shit.
Yeah, but they're trying to put you like in his head, right, Sean? That's perfect way. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was like watching Francis Dollarhide like sit in his fucking house. Like it was like something at a Manhunter. You're sitting there just while you're like, yep. That's a serial killer waiting to happen.
Yeah, and then Gordy's mom, he goes down into his fucking dungeon. What he does is he takes the nail polish remover that he got from the pharmacy, and he takes these flies that he's caught, and he puts them in a jar, and he loads up a cotton ball full of nail polish remover, and he kills these fucking flies. Then dumps them out and starts pulling the wings. He gets this he all of a sudden he becomes a fucking surgeon, and he's got this big giant light thing and this magnifying glass and like tweezers, and he's pulling off the wings to these flies and rubbing them off into a fucking cigar box that he just keeps on the side.
Yeah.
What's really, I think the creepiest thing about this scene, particularly right here, is that he nudges the flies around to see which ones are alive and which ones are dead. And the ones that he kind of, quote-unquote, shows mercy for that are still alive, he puts in a fucking tank with, like, old gum and, like, candy and shit.
Lollipops.
Well, it's the lollipop he got from the pharmacy.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, and then what he does with the rest of these flies is he makes dioramas of flies.
All different shapes and sizes.
You know what's funny too, and that I just thought of, now I'm thinking of it right now? I did something similar when we worked at Century.
You're ripping wings off of flies, Joe?
No, these flies were dead. I didn't trap them and kill them. They were dead. But I
Didn't need any acetone.
No, just my imagination, because I put them in a little boat, and there was a moth that was dead. I'll post them on the Instagram for this. It just lines up really well with this anyway.
Happier times.
Yes.
And what he's making, I would believe you would call flyoramas, okay?
You win,
man.
motherfucker. Hashtag Flyerama.
He has like one that's like a diner scene, one that's like a fucking battlefield, like in front of a castle or some shit.
It's a whole castle. It's like Robin Hood with flies.
They all get accompanying sound effects and musical cues.
Marlon Brando, Mel Brooks is there. He's a fucking rabbi.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Fucking Kevin Costner's there at the top shooting fire arrows.
Yeah.
Each time he looks at one of these, it's really sad too, because like every time he looks at one of these dioramas, he's like kind of figuring out where he's going to put his new flies, and and again, like Connor said, there's like sound effects and stuff, and this whole scene is playing out in his mind.
Yeah.
And they do such a good job of like kind of capturing like what he's seeing and like kind of, you know, his inner perspective of everything. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, because he stares at these little displays and has like almost like a Vietnam flashback, the way it's filmed. Mm-hmm. And just kind of gazes at them, and then, like I said, the music and sound effects go over, and the camera zooms in and pans over sections of them, so you get, you know, the music, the sound effects, and like the camera's following, I guess it would be like a line of action if these flies were alive and mobile.
Right.
And he just stares at them for a while, and it's a super serial killer moment. Like,
Yeah.
Oh man, the fucking fly on the crucifix in the church that killed me.
That fucking ruined me.
There's like a whole ceremony at this church where there's like a fly in a coffin, and there's like flies in the pews, and then like on the giant crucifix is a fucking fly.
So then he gets called to dinner, and this awkward scene.
Well, don't forget the best part, dude. So he's like, nah, not the church, not the fucking castle. I'm gonna put it in my 50s fucking soda shop. So
Right.
So there's like an empty stool, and he puts a fly in, and then Biff comes in and he's like, "Hey, McFly, I thought I told you never to come here." And then his mother calls him for dinner.
McFly.
Get it? Okay. Come on, that was low-hanging fruit, but I had to take it.
Make like a fly and leaf your wings.
I'm your density.
So yeah, like Connor just said, his mother calls him and he goes up for dinner. And this scene, this is like Will Wheaton. What the fuck was that movie?
The Curse?
Yes, very similar, minus the curse part where everyone's dying because they're eating the tainted food.
Yeah. This scene actually hit home for me as being a kid who was into like weird shit and like wrote like weird horror stuff in school and got in trouble for it, and your parents being like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?" Like, I didn't have a fly diorama or flyerama, excuse me, TM.
I would almost argue that the tongue lashing, I'll call it, that his father gives him
Is brutal.
it's brutal. If he said it in a nicer way, I'd be like, yeah, I 100% agree. And I still pretty much agree with the guy, but he just says it in such a shitty way.
However, what Gordy's doing is unhealthy as fuck, and it seems like they've had this conversation more than once.
Oh yeah.
This family unit is fucking broken and dysfunctional, because you have mom who's like, "Oh, dear boy, please stop this horrifying habit." Yeah, smiles. Gordy is non-attentive, doesn't give a shit, and continues to do as he does. And dad is like, "You're a fucking psychopath. I hate you. I wish you were never born. God, I would stuff you, I would fucking kill you with a pillow if I could. Jesus Christ."
Your mother raised a fucking nutbag.
Well, then, yeah, of course, then that turns into, it's always my fault, and, the arguing continues.
Oh, God, there's some ugly shit in this conversation. Like,
Yeah.
Dad is very much like, you can tell by looking at him, it's like you're sitting there eating like a slob and you're pinning blame onto your wife, even though you are a 50% blamed part for this disaster in front of you.
for sure. He didn't become a pro football player. It hates his job.
Right.
There's some ugly shit in this because his mother, says stuff like, "Oh, the big school dance is coming up." Like she's trying to be positive, right? Trying to do it in a more gentle way, where like, "Oh, you should go do that," or like, "Why don't you try something else besides sitting in the fucking basement with your flies?" And she's like, "Oh, the school dance or whatever." And then immediately, Dad is like, "Who the fuck's gonna dance with him? He's fucking gross."
Yeah. See, that's the part that it's like, all right, pal, like, fucking calm down. Like, this is your kid, asshole.
Look, I'm just angry because I blew my Achilles tendon in senior year. Now I'm never gonna be in the NFL.
Yeah, I throw out my fucking QB arm. I'm done.
He's never going to be in AAA, Connor. Like, let's be real.
But he just keeps spitting venom at him like, "Oh yeah, and then they're gonna crown him fucking king of the ball too, right? Right?"
Look, I'm just angry because I never got to wrestle for the WWF, alright?
To break the awkward silence or the awkwardness of the whole conversation, Spivey, the farmer guy, comes on television. And we get the lore bomb dropped of like, "Oh, my name's Spivey, and I made this brand new fertilizer that has a special ingredient in it. We're not going to say where it's from. Wink, wink, Clint Howard. But
It came from a green meteorite."
Yeah.
Right?
Well, what happened was the gods graced us, and and H.P. Lovecraft said, "Let there be light," and a fucking meteor hit my farm. And then inside, all these giant vegetables are fucking are rotten.
Yeah, and Bill Cosby's there. He's got a giant pepper the size of a watermelon.
Yeah, on the other side of the farm is that news report from Meteor Man happening at the same time. Meteor Man's like, "I grew this whole farm," and on the other end, he's like, "I grew this whole farm."
Oh, I thought you were going in the curse direction. Yeah, Pete Townsend comes in. He's like, "Give me back my fucking carrots. These aren't for you."
Pete Townsend, I was waiting for someone to fucking fuck that up.
Oh, I fucked up, didn't I, Robert Townsend?
Didn't happen the whole Meteor Man episode, but that's out of sight, out of mind, right?
Dude, I almost slipped in the Meteor Man episode by saying Pete Townsend. Holy shit. Robert Townsend, excuse me.
Just walks in, he's got the fucking super suit on, he's like breaking guitars all over the place on the ground.
Oh yeah, man, he's just like Eminence front, and he fucking like takes the carrot. Yeah.
Speaking of pedophiles,
I was gonna say, you took the words right out of my mouth. Speaking of fucking kids that are kids. Speaking of fucking
good lord,
grown-ass men who like kids, for Christ's sake.
Christ.
That is, see, all our fucking heroes, man. Fuck them.
Nah, I don't know if I want to.
No, you know what I mean. That's disgusting.
So yeah, apparently Spivey has this fucking shit in it, literal shit manure, and he's doing a fucking interview with the news. This reporter is so fucking white, by the way. "Oh yeah, Spivey, you can make a lot of money with this idea. Why don't you sell it? I would do that."
Do you think Jonathan Davis saw this movie and he was like, "Oh man, I got it. I was touched as a kid too, and that's a great name for a band."
KORN.
Because on this dude's microphone, it says KORN in big capital fucking letters.
He's just fucking at home and he's like, "That's great."
Oh yeah, dude. He was like, Dr. Corn. Okay, great. The Willies, thank you.
Gets perfect.
Anyway, so it ends with like the news reporter. I always laugh at this, but he's like, he says tomato, or you say tomato, but he says tomato, and has like a giant tomato in his hand.
And then Eddie Munster said, "Tomato, tomato."
Butch Patrick's there?
Yeah, exactly. He's in the corner eating soup, fucking beard's coming off in it.
He's the weatherman.
And then the tomato kills everybody, and this is actually a prequel to Attack the Killer Tomatoes.
George Clooney's there?
Yeah, dude, Return of the Killer Tomatoes. There he is.
So yeah, he's got giant vegetables, and he doesn't want to tell people. Again, just like in Meteor Man, this would be like a scientific breakthrough.
Yeah.
Beyond belief. Like, you're not keeping this for yourself, pal. The FBI is going to be knocking on your fucking door.
Exactly.
Yeah, especially when he's like, "I'm gonna grow a carrot the size of a man." You have any idea how many people I could feed him? Like, you have any idea how much attention you get?
Not only that, but like Sean's absolutely correct. Like, if this guy was like, "I'm not selling, blah blah blah," all of a sudden he would show up.
Those men in black that Dan Aykroyd was worried about would be showing up at his door.
Exactly. There would be a suicide note and 3 bullets in the back of his head. And he'd be like, "Well, he shot himself in the back of his head."
He killed himself.
Yeah, he got Putined.
He didn't know Hillary Clinton at all. Not once did he ever meet her in his entire life.
We're gonna grow giant vegetables, the best vegetables. We're gonna feed the nation. and then everybody eats it and dies of fucking like radiation poisoning.
It's a good tomato. It's a great tomato. It's the best tomato.
It's the best tomato.
I blame the farmers. It wasn't me. I never said to do that.
Barack Obama grew the evil tomatoes and he poisoned them 8 years ago.
He left me bad manure. It was his fault.
I never said that the farmers were good farmers or this was a good idea. It's not my fault.
They're great Americans, but they didn't have great things to work with.
But I was great.
Always, of course.
Well, isn't Gordy watching this and he sees the fact that the vegetables are really fucking big, so he wants the doesn't he get the idea to get to steal more manure, I guess?
Well, no. Okay. So after the Spivey commercial, his dad's talking more shit, and like there's a fly lands on the rim of Dad's glass, and it's kind of like one of those scenes where Dad's droning on, but like in Gordy's head, he kind of like tunes him out.
Yeah, womp 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 womp.
Yeah, fucking wah. He gets fucking peanuts teachered. He fucking slams his hand down on Dad's beer glass, and a fly drops into the Dad's beer, and he sticks his fucking dirty fingers in there and fishes it out. And his parents are just glaring at him and each other like, what the fuck is wrong with this kid? And Gordy's just like, what? What's the matter?
And then I think the dad knocks it out of his fucking hand, and he's like, ah, the fly!
He's like, oh, you fucking... Oh, no, because he tries to get up and he grabs his hand. He's like, you're going to sit here and listen to this shit because all you do is play with them filthy fucking flies. And he's like, this is going to stop. His fucking mom, all of a sudden, like, I guess is triggered now and gets up and fucking grabs the can of raisins and was like, look at this, Gordy. He's like, do you think I wasn't going to notice these weren't raisins? The fucking raisin canister has been filled with flies, like dead flies.
I don't know why she still has it in the cabinet. Like, if you know it's a tin full of flies and not raisins, just throw it in the trash.
Maybe she was waiting for, like, the most opportune time for, like, this to come to a head and then say something?
Honey, just throw the fucking flies away. No, I have to wait.
I need to hold this over our son's head.
Exactly. I gotta wait for the most opportune moment to throw this shit in his face because he's fucking weird.
Yeah, he goes to bed, and he has this fucking dream where... I guess it's not a dream. He gets up in the middle of the night to get something to drink. He's like, oh, I'm so thirsty. And he goes down and he's getting a glass of water or what have you, and the TV turns on. And he starts seeing like all this like fly-related fucking programming.
It's him fucking pulling the flies' wings off and shit and like killing them and shit.
And then it like changes on its own, and it changes the fucking growing pains to Kirk Cameron.
This is insane to me. Like, it reads like sleep paralysis stories that I've heard, which is super creepy. Secondly, to have this movie, which is kind of like a little, it's a little indie flick.
Oh, it's indie for sure.
This movie suddenly have like an official Kirk Cameron fucking Growing Pains like appearance and reference the film that it's appearing in is nuts to me.
Do you know that if I meet Kirk Cameron, he's signing this movie?
Well, he calls out Gordy directly.
Yeah.
Kirk Cameron's like slapping flies. And again, because the director called in a favor for Growing Pains because he's working on it at this time, Kirk Cameron looks at the fucking screen. He's like, these flies aren't for me. They're for Gordy Belcher.
Yeah, wild. I think it's really effective, actually. It's kind of...
Yeah, me too. I think it's great.
It's super creepy.
And then it cuts to like basically the news report of Spivey again, but he does a similar thing where he also like looks at Gordy and is like, yeah, it's gonna be all your fault, Gordy.
You didn't stay off my land and now you're gonna be fucked, and you and your flies. Welcome to my nightmare.
I know he's a kid, but you see all this shit, whether it be a vision or like Connor said, maybe it's some sleep paralysis bullshit.
Maybe.
And you just don't think anything of that. You're just like, I'm going to still keep doing shit with these flies. That was not trying to tell me anything.
Well, no, it's totally a dream because right after the TV shuts off, he opens the fridge and he sees himself dead inside the fridge.
Right. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. That was creepy as fuck.
Yeah, it was creepy, dude. The makeup's good and there's like flies all over him and shit. And then he wakes up for the first time.
Oh, right.
And he's like, oh, it's just a dream. And then he throws off his, or he goes to take a huffer, right? Because he can't breathe because he's, worked up or whatever. And there's maggots like in his huffer.
Oh, man, that was disgusting.
Yeah, that was gross. And then he fucking throws his comforter off and there's all fucking quote unquote maggots all over him.
Mealworms.
Mealworms, yes. But we'll save that story for the interview.
Yes, and hearing how elaborate this was, I'm surprised how short this was.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, that was it. Well, often, I mean, we talk about that all the time, especially in like doing special effects. Like you work on it for months and months, or the prep is so long and the scene is only a couple seconds.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
all the time.
And then he wakes up again, but for real this time. And that's pretty much the scene. I mean, I like it a lot.
Yeah. Hard cut to fucking 3 cheeseburgers, 2 Twinkies, and a fucking Ecto Cooler? I want that fucking lunch.
Damn.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah. Joe, in the past you've actually made Ecto Cooler, and now I kind of want some.
I sure have.
Man, I miss Ecto Cooler so bad.
Oh, it is so good. You still got any cans of that? Didn't you get like a huge stockade of that back when they re-released it?
I have 2 unopened packages of like the juice boxes. And I have like 3 or 4 cans of it, but I'm not going to drink that shit. Maybe we'll drink it.
Oh, I would drink that shit in a heartbeat.
Well, oh, you want to do like a video? We'll drink some old Ecto Cooler?
Hey, what the hell? Why not next? If we can ever get back together, if people fucking can stay home for more than
Yes.
fucking a day or 2 at a time, maybe one day we can get back together again.
This is what we're going to do. When the new Ghostbusters drops,
Oh, might as well wait another year. Fuck it, right?
yeah, well, no, we'll wait till we can get together again, right? So when the new Ghostbusters drops, mark us here. We're going to drink Ecto Cooler from 2016.
Oh no.
Fuck it. Make sure it's cold at least.
Yeah, okay, we can put it in the fridge.
And if it tastes like shit, I'll just add vodka.
Yep, that's fine. We're going to pour it in a glass so we can see what it looks like, and then we'll drink it up.
All right. I'm committed to it.
Done deal. It's locked in.
I've eaten a 100-year-old egg with Joe in the past.
Yes.
I've eaten pickled pig's feet, so why the fuck not?
We have eaten a lot of weird shit together, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of a theme.
Yeah.
A through line in our friendship.
But it's cool because besides my fiance, you're the only one who eats weird shit with me like that, like pickled
Yeah.
pig's feet and fucking
Sure.
1,000-year-old egg. It's not really 1,000 years old.
That 1,000-year-old egg was pretty fucking good, by the way.
It's called a Pidon egg, by the way. It's a Chinese thing.
No, thank you.
It was really good.
It was really good.
I'm just gonna say that.
No, thank you.
It came out real. It smelled like fucking sulfur, but it tasted really good.
Well, because we also mixed it in like this, what was it? The joke? It's called joke. Or joke.
Yeah, it was like a porridge or something you guys made.
It's a chicken and rice porridge that we cooked for all day, like 12 hours or some shit like that.
Now that sounds delicious.
If you can get past the smell, it's like a durian. You just need to get past that
Yeah.
first fucking obstacle.
Well, you take the Pidon egg and you cut it in half. You don't eat the fucking egg as it is, right? You cut it in half and then you chop it up into small pieces and then you kind of sprinkle it into the joke and then you mix it together. Oh my god, it is so tasty.
We got to revisit that.
Yeah, we do.
But back to the Ecto Cooler and Gordy here. He sits down at this table, cafeteria table with I at first assumed were his friends, but everyone at the table's like, oh god, this guy.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He butts his way into that table. He's like, all right, move left, move right. Ha ha. All right. He sits down like.
This is one of those scenes where like I feel bad for him, but then what he does, I'm like, you fucking dickhead. Like
He courts sympathy, but then immediately stabs you in the back.
Yeah.
It's kind of a great play as far as like the movie's concerned because you don't see it coming.
no, not at all. And it's one of those things where it's like he's totally done this before.
I also okay, so he's talking to this girl and basically explaining like, Gordy, like I don't really have a problem with you, like, but what's your deal? And he's like, everyone thinks I'm kind of a bully and I'm kind of weird, so no one ever wants to hang out with me.
I'm too fat or too mean or like too weird or whatever, and like nobody gives me the time of day to like get to know me or whatever.
And this girl and like one other kid are just like, all right, sure, we'll sit here, we'll give you a chance. And he's like, I have some cookies if you want one. And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, sure, why not, right?
That's like a peace offering. Sure, why not?
Yeah,
I'd eat a fucking cookie. Sure.
this fucking bastard. And he goes full Little Monsters on this poor little girl.
Except it's not piss in the apple juice.
No, it's flies in the fucking cookie.
Yeah, but she's also not fucking Ronnie Coleman either.
Yeah, he's not Buzz.
He's not a dickhead. She's just an innocent little girl that he's fucking preying upon.
Who was very clearly suspicious of him from the start.
And he laughs about it.
Yeah, because she's like, oh, you're a scumbag.
I do love when he sits down and he's like, hi, everyone. And her friends are like, I gotta go.
They're like, we gotta go clean chalkboards or whatever. Bye.
So slam cut to the nurse's office where this girl is like basically puking and the other kid that basically said he would hang out with Gordy is there, and he's like, "You're sick, Gordy. You're sick."
Yeah.
And the principal's there, like giving him like, "Yeah, Gordy, yeah, you got to go home."
By the way, they're like feeding this little girl something. Like the nurse is like, you fucked up again, Gordy, you little bastard. And she's like feeding the girl something. Like, what is that? Like Epicac or something?
Charcoal, man, making her throw up
Yeah, it's activated charcoal, I think.
for a fucking fly cookie.
I don't know. Like, why don't you just kind of wait it out? I think you took a little bite. You'll be fine.
He gets sent home. Yeah, he stops at Spivey's on the way home.
And there's all these fucking signs all over the thing, all over his fence. It's like, come on in. Welcome, Gordy. Come on in.
I love he walks in. Does he just attempts to steal things first, and then he kind of outs himself again?
So he sees the signs and he goes into the fence. And, he's doing his usual spiel where he goes over to the manure bag and, like, again, cuts this fucking thing open and starts to put it in a glass jar. This time, it's, like, right next to a barn door. And Spivey opens the door and smashes his glass jar, and it breaks and it, like, cuts his fucking hand. And he goes to run away. And Spivey's like, "Oh, wait a second, Gordy, Gordy." And he's like, "Oh, what?" He's like, "Oh, you can't shoot a moving target or whatever." And he's like, No. I want to have a truce. I'm going to fix your hand and come on in the shed. I got a little something for you. It's my new album.
I love this exchange because he's like, I don't have my gun. I don't need to shoot you. I can kill you with my bare hands. You ever heard of the 5-point exploding finger death punch? Come over here.
Don't mind the snake around my neck and the guillotine to your left.
I don't need a gun to kill you, Gordy.
Watch out for the bats.
So Gordy goes inside reluctantly, and he's just making off funny comments. Like, he says something like, "Oh, yeah, sure, I'll come inside, but, yeah, if I'm not home in a little while, my parents are going to call the police." And he's like, "Yeah, okay." And then Gordy goes inside, and he's like, "If you're not home in a little while, your parents are going to have a party."
Yeah. Spivey knows what's up.
Spivey knows what's up, dude.
Your parents would have smothered you a long time ago if they weren't so...
Oh, yeah. Finally, I'm getting rid of this fucking kid.
Spivey also clearly doesn't give a shit about the parents either.
No.
At all.
Nobody's going to suspect him. Nobody's going to suspect him because Gordy's a fucking little shit.
This story goes like serious Stephen King here, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Because, he gives him basically this huge jar of manure that just has the words Gordy Belcher in tape basically slapped on the side of it.
"I cooked up a special batch for you, Gordy. It's got an extra heaping of my secret ingredient, so whatever you're using it for, it's gonna work extra good."
I told you I need a gun to kill you. I mean, enjoy.
I hope you're eating it because I put extra shit in it.
No one will ever suspect me. I only just went on TV talking about how I grew things really big with my manure, and the kid down the street had something grow really big with my manure. They'll never piece it together.
Yeah.
Some of that poop is mine. That's the secret ingredient, Gordy.
A bit nutty.
Yes, I smoked that fucking toxic waste weed from Clint Howard, and I shit out the fucking right combination of chemicals to make giant vegetables.
He just smoked a radioactive blunt while he was like eating like giant prunes or something while he just unloaded into a bucket.
Oh yeah. Oh, P.S. This motherfucker Spivey is completely, totally, and utterly one of GVD's gentleman callers.
Yes.
Sure, I could see it.
I'm coming over. Don't you dare take a shower.
Don't worry, Granny. I got my fucking sexy fucking manure waiting for you.
I want to smell you a mile away.
We're gonna make something grow.
He goes to Granny Van Dam. He's like, "You see this cucumber? You think it'll fit?"
Try again.
He's got Gramps knocking on his door. "Ah! My spinning dildo broke. You got any vegetables I could stick on here?"
You'll need to do a whole new harvest to get one that big.
He replaces Gramps' dick with a giant cucumber? That fucks Granny Van Dam?
Well, it doesn't spin, but it sure smells good. Hey, if I get hungry, I just bend over, take a bite out of the end of it. Have you seen a crystal skull, by the way?
That is the most disgusting menage a trois I've ever pictured in my head.
Well, Gramps just sits there chewing on his dick while Spivey gets fucked by the GVD, I guess, or gets something shoved up his ass like that Bill O'Reilly guy in The Suckling.
You think? Oh my god, you think? Spivey's a fucking masochist?
GVD's got that dominatrix outfit. I could see it. as clear as day.
Yeah, man.
Spivey calls up GVD. He's like, I grew the cucumber. She's like, ha ha, redwood. And then hangs up the phone.
It's not for me, silly boy. It's for you. And Gramps is like, I don't want no part of that. Just sit on my dill.
That woman is a fucking demon, and I want nothing else to do with her. All right.
Oh boy, I guess I'm gonna have to hit the bourbon again.
I'm 200 years old, and I want none of that shit.
Hey, Gramps, you happy to see me, or is that just a cucumber in your pocket?
It's a fucking cucumber, all right? I lost it in some 20-year-old. We already went over this.
I'm not drunk enough yet.
It just keeps growing and growing and growing.
Well, how does it keep on growing, Spivey? Oh, I don't know. I talk again. Clint Howard, something, toxic waste, whatever. Bye.
Super Ticks, we haven't gotten that episode yet. Stop jumping the plot, all right?
We haven't gotten to that episode yet. We'll elaborate later.
This is called a teaser.
Oh.
Remember when Thor went in that cave in Avengers Ultron? And he was like, something bullshit Infinity Gems.
So Gordy goes home and he's like, oh, he's like, hey mom, what's up? And mom's like, hey Gordy, you're home from school over early. And he's like, oh, yeah, there was a teacher convention or some shit. Bye. And she's like, yeah, well, I think I would have known about it. And he's like, no, yeah, I guess I forgot to tell you, it was a teacher's convention. And she's just like, you're so full of fucking shit. And she's like, go to your room and you can stay there because you made a fucking little girl eat a dead fly cookie. And by the way, I took all of your shit from your fucking fly dungeon and I threw it in the garbage.
Dude, he has a meltdown.
He sure does. He runs downstairs, looks in it. He's like, what's in the trash bag? Ah, fuck.
She cleared this out big time. There is nothing. She left the fish tank with nothing in it. That's it.
Yeah, that's how you do it, though. You know what I mean? Rip that fucking Band-Aid off.
The funny thing is, when he walked in, he saw her, chewing on a lollipop, but,
oh, no.
he didn't put two and two together. Her teeth were just covered in fly guts.
Oh, man, there's like fucking wings and legs and shit in her fucking teeth. Ew.
Yeah.
So Gordy's like, oh, she didn't, I'm not licked yet. He fucking runs up to his room, and she's done a really good job, except for the fact she didn't, stick her head out the window because there's flypaper hanging up.
Really obvious to see from the outside of the front of the house, but sure.
Sure. But I guess she's not going outside and, looking up at his window, right?
No, yeah. And there's only 3 fucking flies on this thing.
But the plate is gone with the can and all that shit. That's all thrown out.
He's like, thank God for Mom's agoraphobia. She didn't see outside the house.
Right?
So Gordy takes these flies and he puts them in his new manure jar, his special manure jar that he got from Spivey. And he's like, this is going to be great. I'm going to fucking, you didn't get me. I'm going to have some fun with you guys. So he puts the fucking thing on the shelf and goes to bed. Cut to the middle of the night.
Oh, man.
And there's a big ruckus in Gordy's room. And he looks up and there's and the fucking glass jar is busted completely. And we cut to his mother and father's room. And his mother's like, oh, did you hear that noise? It was, Gordy, is he okay? And his dad's like, he's just fucking going to the refrigerator, stuffing his fat face or whatever. She's like, no, this is different. So they go to Gordy's room. They open the door, and there is Gordy on his bed.
Oh, my God.
With both arms ripped off.
Surprisingly okay with the whole situation.
Totally fine with it. He's just like, I think he's in shock is what it is. And they walk in, they turn on the light, they see him. And then 3 fucking gigantic flies emerge from behind his bedroom door.
Let me tell you something. Well, one, they walk out with his severed arms and present them like they're gifts.
Oh, yeah.
Secondly, as much as I love all the other effects in this movie, I bursted out laughing when I saw these things. Because I'm like...
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so when is Tommy going to come in and start kicking the shit out of him? Because they look like fucking straight up Power Rangers monsters they gotta fight.
Jason David Frank just fucking jumps in the window with a fucking kick. Yeah!
When they first start shown on screen, I'm like, man, these are a little goofy looking. But, when they do, a close-up shot on them, when they're, rubbing their, I don't even know what you call these things, pincers.
Their legs.
Legs together, ready to eat. That was pretty creepy.
That's creepy. But when the wider shots, they're doing like the big arms thing, and they're kind of like doing the weird like.
Dude, because that is what flies do. If you've seen, I mean, I guess you could just see it in real life, but look up videos of what flies do. It was pretty spot on. I mean, that's what a fly would do.
For sure. I mean, even for a low-budget movie, like, I feel like these costumes are decent.
Yeah, no, definitely.
You know what I mean? Let me tell you something. It's not an easy task to make a creature costume, let alone 3 of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's 3 of them, so bravo for getting that much, for doing that much work for this fucking scene.
Got the big bang for the buck, dude.
Lest we forget the suckling, $10,000.
There you go.
But yeah, they're a little like I said, the wider shots. They look like they're doing like the weird vamping monster motions that the Power Rangers monsters always do. They're doing big arms, they're flexing, they're doing whatever the fuck, and I'm just like giggling the whole time.
Yeah. So the fucking parents freak out and the light goes out, and Spivey is like outside his house in the shadows, like, I told you it was a special batch, motherfucker.
I told you I wouldn't need my hands to kill you. I wouldn't need a shotgun to kill you.
Now where's that cucumber?
In my butt.
So then Gordy wakes up again, and you're like, oh, it's another dream. Nope. This motherfucker has amputated arms, and he has prosthetic limbs with, like, hook hands.
I guess his parents just didn't get eaten, or is he there by himself?
Where did those 3 flies go?
They
Did they just escape into the night?
went and ate Spivey.
Oh, man, you think... Oh,
He was out there. He was out there like, oh yeah, took care of that problem. They come and fly over him and just pick him up and lift him up into the air.
We didn't ask to be made, Farmer Spivey.
yeah, they fucking carry him right to fucking Granny Van Dam's brothel, dude. And those are the guards now for Granny Van Dam's brothel.
3 flies? Do they have names?
Yeah, 3 giant flies.
Hold on. What the fuck are those things from Dark Crystal? Those big giant crab guards.
The Gartham.
Yeah, they're those. They just sit there like immobile until you walk up to them.
And they rip your fucking arms off.
Yes.
You're not Gelfling, but it doesn't matter, right? If you don't pay, you get your arms ripped off.
Damn.
First of all, if you're approaching GVD's like fortress, like there's like maybe like 3 people she just let walk in, okay? Like,
Does that mean she's like taking other small creatures from the MDU and like sucking their essence out via crystal in that basement?
I don't know what the fuck she's doing in that fortress, right? All right,
Maybe.
I think so, right?
The ones that didn't make the cut?
Howard the Duck finally got strapped to that fucking chair and the fucking crystal sucking out his essence.
Yeah. Also, I just am now picturing these flies with like t-shirts on that say security. Maybe sunglasses, I'm not sure yet.
they're dressed up like the ECW security.
Their arms are just folded, all 6 of them.
Ed, and Eddie.
That's their names.
Yep, that's what I'm saying.
There you go. Done. 2 fly crew. There you go.
That's basically the movie. We have a final scene with Sean Astin and these 2 brothers.
Yeah, the wraparound comes full circle, and they're like, oh, that was a scary story. And then their light goes out again, and they're like, oh, shit, we're fumbling with the matches or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then a light turns on, and you see that they're in a backyard, and they're not, like, away from anybody, right?
Yeah, I like that.
I like it, too. I think it's very cool.
It's very real. Like, kids do that shit.
Sure, all the time.
Why not?
I mean, look at even the most recent thing I can think of is Parasite, where that happens.
Oh, yeah. I did it as a kid.
I did it as a kid, too.
And I fucking hate camping in a tent, so I don't know what I was thinking.
So the light turns on, and they're like, oh, we're fumbling in the dark, 'cause whatever. So they get the lantern lit again, and you hear, hey, you boys all right in here or whatever? And they're like, oh, yeah, hey, Uncle Harry, we're good. And he sticks his head in, and guess who it is? James Cameron, without a mustache. Bum, bum, bum. And Sean Astin's like, hey, Dad, they didn't believe me when I told them the story about the fucking janitor monster. Why don't you prove it to them? And the fucking kids are like, yeah, prove it to us, Uncle Harry. And he's like, you sure? Okay. And he fucking takes his face off and I guess eats these kids? Or like scares the shit out of them?
Right?
I guess maybe eats 2 of them? I don't know.
Eats one of them, the little brother?
And then their mom comes over to pick them up and is like, what do you mean you ate my kids? Your fucking nephews?
Yeah, also, like, aren't they all monsters?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Like, or is it just him? Is it just Uncle Harry?
Yeah.
Uncle Harry's dick works?
It's a very Goosebumps-esque like ending where it's like, surprise monster reveal. Do they get out? Story's over.
Yeah, but I love that, right?
Yeah, no, it's great.
No, yeah, I'm into it.
We'll get into that in the final thought, but real quick, since you said Goosebumps, it reminds me of Vampire's Breath when the two, or the girl who cried monster.
Oh, that's the one that comes to mind for me.
Yeah, sure. She doesn't realize that she's a monster, and like upon puberty or whatever, she gets her fangs and she becomes a monster.
And then she eats him.
No, I just love that idea. Like,
Yeah.
they haven't matured enough yet to become the monster portion of their lineage, you know?
So one day, Sean Astin, just when he hits like 18, he's gonna transform into some like lanky brown creature.
Maybe.
Unless that's his skin suit that he's wearing.
That's how he fought, what? Fuck.
The Fratellis?
No. He was too young for that. What's the fucking spider's name?
Oh, Shelob. Yeah.
Shelob. Yeah, when he fights fucking Shelob, dude, he didn't need that little fucking thing that he got from Galadriel. He just needed to turn into the fucking brown monster.
Well, he didn't have the ring like he did in the book, so he had to improvise.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Well, if you play the game, Shelob gets a sexy human body, so then it becomes neutral territory.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Let's make the spider hot.
You think the brown potato monster's fucking that Shelob monster?
I think that's how you get Sean Astin.
What the hell did we just watch where we were like, yeah, let's make the fucking whatever hot when it shouldn't have been? Oh, the snake, Medusa.
Yeah.
Let's make Medusa hot. No.
Oh, God. Yeah, last year, Sam Worthington.
Yeah. Clash of the Titans, go check it out. Blockbuster Bombs. Anyway, so, fellas, where are we putting this?
Shelf. Shelf, like, it immediately between, like, I don't know if these both exist, but they are for this argument. Right between a box set of Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Sure.
It's got that, for the level of violence in it, it seems like, the level of violence it has is what Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark long to be, but can't. And so I think it's kind of the it's the more advanced version of that. It's violent, but not gory and not horrific. It's really, really fun. It feels way shorter than it is, which I think is always a benefit, because if you don't feel like your time is being grinded up and wasted, usually it makes for a good viewing experience. Michael Ray Bowers, fucking awesome. Little kid who plays Danny is awesome. Sean Astin is, like, really good despite being in it for, like, I don't know, maybe 4 minutes. All the practical effects are good. It's just weird and charming, and it has that right in the middle, just right, like, aesthetic tone of, like, indie monster flick. And horror anthologies are usually pretty fun. I'd be hard-pressed to tell you about, like, a bad one I've seen. Maybe ABCs of Death.
Creepshow 3?
There's a Creepshow 3?
Oh, God. Don't even... If you've never seen Creepshow 3, don't even watch it.
Never seen it. I didn't know it fucking existed.
As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't exist.
All right, then. I even like all of Creepshow 2, despite, like, that kind of having low points. But I think horror...
I love Creepshow 2, and that is not, like, one of those things where it's like, oh, well, everybody hates it and I like it. It's legit. Like, I love Chief Woodenhead and The Raft. I think they're really good stories.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
The Raft is the best part of 2.
Sure.
The Raft is fucking terrifies me, because I'm afraid of open water.
Well, oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. But yeah, it has that super fun, like, kind of bouncy, where you're just going from one thing to the next, feel that a good horror anthology has. So yeah, Shelf. I don't know where to put it in the Daniel Baldwin shrine, but I guess that's Sean's.
Oh, don't worry, I'll get to that.
Yeah, you'll do that.
Yeah, dude, totally shelf. This has been on the shelf since forever. I remember seeing this when I was a wee one, renting it from one of my favorite mom and pop shops, Video Time. That's where I first saw this. And then later I had found it at an A to Z, so I bought it when they were going out of business.
Was Video Time on Hooper Avenue?
Yeah, that's where
Oh, yep. Yes.
I actually the VHS I have of the Willies was from the A to Z video that was off of Route 37.
Holy shit.
Which is now a...
tanning salon or something?
Yeah.
I get depressed every time I go home and see all the shit that I grew up with is just fucking gone.
Yeah, it's gone. It's nice to have. I think I have Rawhead Rex, A Gnome Named Norm, the Willies, and something else from that store. Those are directly from that store. I fucking love this movie. Again, like I said at the beginning of the episode, it's just this big giant cozy blanket that I want to pull over myself and kind of get lost in every time I turn it on. and again, every time I do put it on, it's just one of those captivating things that just makes me feel warm and toasty inside. It hits all of those notes that I want to hit, from the score to the effects to the acting to the stories to the tonality of the whole thing. It just feels so good. And like Connor said, Mike Bauer's great. Sean Astin is good in his little roles, and it's a bummer because I really want you guys to see like the full cut of this with the poodle in the microwave and the Goonies joke. I feel like those two things definitely add to the experience. And it's unfortunate that you guys didn't experience the whole thing the way I have seen it so many times.
Yeah, I had to scour the internet for scenes I didn't know I missed.
Yeah, it's very strange. And again, like we mentioned at the beginning, like despite the fucking scumbag director, I think this little gem should be enjoyed by people. And I feel like, again, in the community, in the horror community and or VHS community, I feel like this is a very well-known film. It's not super rare and it's not super well-known either. But if you haven't seen it, you should definitely find it. It's free on YouTube, and I only say that because at this point it's public domain as far as I know, as far as we know, as far as all of that goes. But again, but I think on the shelf, I would put it between Creepshow and the first season of Are You Afraid of the Dark. I feel like this film is a progenitor of Are You Afraid of the Dark? It's like, it's Tales from the Dark Side for kids. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It just feels great, and I hope one day that I can... Me and my buddy Chris Barr have a concept for a kid-orientated anthology, and I hope that not only can we make the film, but I hope that we can accomplish what this film does so well and capture that magic again. So yeah, on the shelf. Absolutely. Always has been, always will be.
I guess I kind of already gave it away by saying that I'll handle the Daniel Baldwin madness here, Connor. But yeah, shelf, I like this a lot, and I never saw this movie before. I probably would have loved it as a kid because I was into Goosebumps pretty hardcore at the time. And I don't know what else I can really say, honestly. Like, the acting's pretty good. Michael Ray Bauer's good in it. That kid that plays Danny is good in the first part. Mr. Jenkins is good.
Oh, yeah.
Even Spivey, I like him, the actor. Alice Cooper, as he's been known to be called on this episode. Like Joe had said earlier in this episode, it's very cozy. There's just something about it. I don't know how to put my finger on it, but it's just really well made. And considering that it was just kind of pieced together over the course of like 5 years, I think that's a pretty big accomplishment for such a small film that was on like a shoestring budget. That really just, like, nobody saw a return on, apparently.
It's a real testament to it, I think.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah.
And to get back to Baldwin, we open up the closet door, and there he is, enshrined here. Garbage and bubble gum and gin bottles, as I've said a few times now, hamburger bags. I think this one, you twist the bubblegum nipple, and a secret compartment opens up on the chest, and you look in there. It's just like, again, this motherfucker keeps coming up on the show, and I don't even know if anybody knows what I'm talking about. Frankie from One Piece. If you don't know what I'm talking about, he's a fucking cyborg who joins the Straw Hats, and he has a fucking compartment inside his chest. Much like Bender from Futurama, that he stores his cola in, which powers his cybernetic body. But in Daniel Baldwin's case, he has a portal. Where when you reach inside, you just stick the DVD in, or the VHS tape in this particular case, and it's kind of like Homer when he has that teleporter. He's like, he's pissing into the one end, and then the toilet's on the other side. But in this particular case, there's just like an endless vault of DVDs that are like, yeah, this is on the shelf, and it's in here because it's just right.
It's close to his heart.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of heart,
And I guess where the fuck am I going with this? I like this movie a lot, but I don't know if I would go so far to say I loved it.
Okay, that's fair.
I guess that's where I think, the middle of the dumpster is somewhere in some fucking pocket dimension inside Daniel Baldwin's chest, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. And, you squeeze the other nipple, and it shuts and it closes, and we'll return to it another day. But, definitely a shelf film, and I'm glad I watched it.
Good. Yeah, I'm glad you guys watched it too. I'm glad we did it and everything worked out the way it did. And don't forget, you will get the first half of the Michael Ray Bauer interview, and you will get those dates if you go to our Instagram. Follow us on Instagram and check out our MD guide that we post for each month to give you the lineup of what's coming up in your feed. And, don't forget, if you guys can do us a solid, please go to Facebook, go to Instagram, go to Twitter, give us a follow, interact with us, tell us what you like, what you don't like, give us that 5-star review on iTunes, and leave us a nice review. We just got some great reviews from Jeremy Moorhead. He loves the show.
Yeah.
He left a great review. We got a great review from Matt Collins. He left us a review too, and was really digging it. I think he liked our the 13th Warrior episode. He really enjoyed. So that's awesome.
With Vigo.
It always feels good to hear from you guys and know that we see a lot of you listen to the show. Tell us what you think. Tell us what can we do to make your experience better? Are we doing everything that you want us to do? Would you like us to do something in particular?
What movies do you want us to do? We have our own list, but let us know.
Yeah. And just anything. You can shoot the shit about anything. We always want to talk to you guys.
Let us know about those fucking custom tapes you got at home that you recorded off your TV at 3 a.m.
Yes. I want to know all about the fucking tape your dad recorded 9 fucking things. Oh, an addendum to that, too. I had a fucking Turner and Hooch and Uncle Buck taped off television.
Oh, that's a banger.
Yeah, it was a banger. I think I still have it. It's downstairs. Just watch it all the time. That, and we recorded dinosaurs all the time.
Yes. Earl.
Yeah, man.
Review us on iTunes, or I will aim my antimatter gun at Duckworld and blow it up.
Well, would that really be a loss?
That's why I'm starting there. We can afford to lose it.
Wait a second. Is the next one going to be the Daniel Stern world? Because don't do that.
I'm not going to go into full crisis territory, but other Earths happen after that. So.
and Connor, what's the new Phantom Zone episode coming up?
Well, there's one should be dropping from last week soon, where we brought on our friends Andy and Isaiah, and they hijacked the show and turned it into just more chaos than we're accustomed to.
Which is saying something.
Oh man, then it must have been a fucking frenzy, dude.
Yeah, because Andy is he's some kind of extra dimensional being who is just designed to just upheave any conversation that you're having.
He's John Hurt?
I think he might be more powerful.
Whoa.
Uh-oh. Oh no. That's dangerous.
He's Pennywise level.
The one we recorded last night, we talked about the Snyder Cut, we talked about Ruby Rose quitting Batwoman, Timothy Olyphant being on The Mandalorian coming up,
and Midsommar, apparently.
And me having an alcohol-infused bit about Midsommar with Donkey Kong music.
Which you can check out on our Instagram, which is going to be up.
Boy, is it something!
And as you can see on the MD Guide, we've got 2 more movies coming towards your way this month.
We sure do. What's up next, Sean?
Well, up next is a movie that I'm pretty excited to do, starring Terry O'Quinn, Stepfather.
Yeah, me too. The Stepfather, TM.
The Stepfather. We're having a Stepfather's Day this year, and that's going to drop right before Father's Day, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're closing out the month with a personal favorite of mine, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, Joe, but I think of Joe's also.
Oh, yeah. It sure is. We're talking about The Uninvited.
With George Kennedy.
With George Kennedy, yeah. And not I think there's some kind of remake, some Japanese movie. Anyway, we're talking about the one with the killer cat on a fucking cruise ship.
Yes. So look forward to that.
The Graydon Clark classic.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
So that's it. That's The Willies from 1990, directed by Brian Peck.
Hey everybody, if you want some more bad movie goodness, you can check us out at MovieDumpsterPodcast.com.
Subscribe to us anywhere you listen to your podcast, and make sure to leave us a 5-star review if you dig the show, because it helps us get out of the bottom of the dumpster and into more eardrums.
Yeah, and if you're on the social medias, you can follow us at Movie Dumpster on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm Joe Lascola.
I'm Sean O'Rourke.
I'm Connor McGraw.
Thanks for visiting the dumpster.
You fellas all right out here?
Fine, Uncle Henry.
Great, just great. Hey, we were just going to sleep.
You boys aren't out here giving each other the willies, are you?
I just told them what happened back at Greeley. They didn't believe me.
Oh, they didn't, did they?
Yeah, we don't believe him.
That really didn't happen, did it, Uncle Henry?
It really happened all right. Every word of it.